Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I hope you guys are doing great. And yeah, today is a good day, particularly for the community. We've got a podcast thanks to SPAC. It's going to be happening. It's happening already right now. Okay, hold on. Maybe I just want to quickly fix this. But yeah, we're almost done. So, how are you all? I hope you guys all know. Wait, why? What? There's something weird going on. But yeah, let me get through this. Get rid of that window capture. There you go. So let's see this. It's gonna be between the boys. So
Hello.
let's refresh.
Changed. I
Okay, well, it's still going on. It's gonna be a long one, but let's start from the beginning. Um, see where it goes.
It's April 1st.
Ladies and lads, welcome to HEATSPEAK. It's back. It's not
I'm doing
an
great.
April Fool's joke. I know a lot of you guys in the chat thought it was an April Fool's joke, but it's not. We're back. My name is Spag, and I'm joined by some very special guests here. 3 returning and 1 new guest with Rip, Super Kuma, Joey Fury, and of course the legend Aris. Guys, how you doing, man? Aris, I'll start with you, man. How you doing, my brother? It's been a long time since we last talked, and we don't see you around in the Tekken sphere too much, man. So how you been, man?
I've been great. Never been better. Thanks for inviting me on the podcast.
No, thank you for being here, man. Joey Fury, my brother. I've been seeing that you've been doing a lot of music stuff recently, huh? So how you been, man?
I'm doing great.
Hey,
Doc,
man,
how are
yeah,
you doing, man?
I've been learning the piano, and
Good
I
to
started
see you,
streaming
buddy.
a little bit of my learning, which is cool.
Yeah.
Okay, how did I
and
remove
Actually, I've been playing a lot of Tekken,
this?
online Tekken, but Tekken nonetheless. So I think I'm pretty well versed in what's going on in the game right now. So I'm excited
Yeah,
to talk
I
about
need
it.
to get rid of
That's
the
why you're here, Joey, man. It's always
the
a pleasure to have you
text
here.
that,
Super Kuma,
that's on the
how you
bottom.
doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I wish I knew less.
What do you mean?
It's been I've been doing great personally
Yeah.
in my personal life. Been working on myself. It's going great, but that Tekken business is something, isn't it?
Oh no, we'll get there for sure, man. My brother, you actually called out that this HEATSPEAK would be back. I intended for it to never come back, by the way, but you knew, Rip. I mean,
Bullshit.
how you doing, man?
Okay,
I'm
I
doing great,
forgot
you
how.
know,
Oh yeah,
April
text
1st,
overlay. There you go.
And I realized this morning that the game I've been working on is coming out this month, so it's not like next month or something. It's like end of this month, April 30th. So it's it's an exciting time for me in general.
Busy times, huh?
Very busy.
All right. So, ladies and gents, as you can see, our topics for today's podcast.
The beard down.
We've got 3 topics.
Is it
Number
because of
1,
the weather
all
or
fighting games,
the
good products. Number
health
2, of
overall?
course, and I think this is what most of you guys are probably here for, but we're gonna have to wait a little bit. Tekken 8 Season 3, and then we're closing off with just a bit of like summarizing thoughts. This is the general way we're gonna be going on for today's podcast, but it's just gonna be a general chat, to be honest, about a bunch of things. And there's one thing that I want to start off with actually, which isn't anything to do with any of those topics. 2017 Tekken World Tour Finals. This came into my head today. Super Kuma, you said you wanted to beat someone up. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Oh my god! Every time I'm in a conversation with Rip, I gotta bring it up.
I want because a lot of people don't know about this law, bro. That was almost 10 years ago now.
Oh my
Can
god!
we talk about that?
I was
Pulling his leg straight
That was
away.
10 years ago.
Almost
I'm
10 years
freaked
ago.
out
Yeah.
by that.
almost. It
That's
was. You're
insane.
right. Oh, that makes me feel old.
Okay.
You're talking about when Markman said, "Where you at, EU?" Right?
Yeah.
So I guess like Markman
I think this should
was
be
talking
okay.
shit on stream because there were no Europeans in the top 8, and so he said, "Where you at, EU?" And this guy,
True, man. You have Tisherman still in.
this guy, he didn't realize it was Markman. He thought it was Rip. So he came up to me and he's like, "Where the fuck is Rip at? I'm about to fuck him up." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, because he said, "Where's EU at?" And I was like, I knew it was Markman, but I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, Rip's this way. He's over here. Let me take you to him." You know. But he found out it was Markman. And it was like, never
Oh
mind.
my God.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, the
that's the
funny part
story.
for me was like I didn't know anything about that, so I come outside and Eric's like, "Oh shit, Super Kuma's looking for you." I'm like, "Why?"
He wants revenge,
Yeah, he
dude.
wants to fight you.
Oh
I'm like,
my
"What?
God.
Okay, let's go see." That's how I found out.
Oh
Playing
man.
some
good
casual
times.
against
Oh
someone.
wow.
It's so funny. Anyways, nothing
time.
happened.
I wonder who.
Yeah.
It wasn't me,
wonder who that
bro.
was.
It still wasn't.
I know I sound very serious sometimes, but it was a joke. It was.
Was it? The way
It
Aris is
was.
telling
It
it,
was.
it sounded like you were very serious. But okay.
He's very good at telling the story in the funniest way possible. So I'm gonna keep letting him say it that way
Okay.
because it's
I
just
mean,
a better story that
you
way.
look serious to me. I don't know you. I don't know how French
No,
people
you're right. You're right.
threaten, but you
Threaten.
look serious to me. I wasn't gonna question you.
But listen, it's a lot funnier that way. So
Okay,
I'll let the
deal.
story be told in that way. I don't mind sounding like a tough guy wanting to beat people up.
Well, maybe we can set it up sometime,
It's
man.
a good memory.
Rip versus Super
It's a good
Kuma. You know,
memory.
they're doing that YouTube boxing stuff nowadays, man. So maybe we can do
I'm
something
too
like that.
tall to fight, bro.
Oh, really?
Chop chop.
All right. So,
Definitely will.
so the first topic of the discussion today is, are fighting games good products? So there was, this is a while ago now, but there was an article written by an Australian player called Six Wheatbix, which a lot of people started talking about. And in his article, he basically said that modern fighting games are not good products because for many reasons, but he said some of the one of the reasons was that they obsess over making mecanics easier
So
while
artificial
ignoring
tournament
everything
posted
else.
on IG, saw others. Is my boy
So I mean, if
participating?
we look
Didn't
at just
see
moving to
anything.
A, and we'll get there, right? I mean, this
No,
teacher
your
is trying to
boy
make things
actually
easier.
just went
And
to
Aris,
Islamabad
I remember
today to
watching your
apply
stream
for
a
his
lot back, you and Rip
visa for
back
Japan.
in Tekken Tag 2 times, and you kind of slowly made a transition into like more variety streaming because you've always, if I'm not mistaken, you've always been the type of person to be like, fuck it, I want to do what I want to do. If I'm not enjoying this shit, I'm gonna do something else. And you started streaming other stuff. So can you like talk to me a little bit about like what, when did you make that conscious decision to say, do you know what, I'm gonna move away a little bit from the fighting game stuff and move into other stuff?
Well, I mean, that's crazy because that was a long time ago. But I remember that during Tekken 6, I was 100% so passionate about Tekken. I
यार
shared
ये
a
क्या
lot about it.
बदतमीजी
And
है.
I put a lot of effort into, like, I had a
लिंक
website and
नहीं
I had
डाल
all
रहा
this stuff
बग
going on. I
पैन
was really putting in a lot of effort for no money, obviously, just because I liked it. And I think that as a result of that, I got some popularity. But then when Tekken Tag 2 came out, I was frustrated because I didn't like it. And I also felt like I
He's
have
in
no
Islamabad,
choice
bro.
but to play it,
Yaar, tell me,
even
meet
though I
me.
don't like it. And that
Okay,
feeling made it feel like a job. And if it's
okay,
gonna be a
I'll
job,
I'll
then it needs to
talk to him.
pay like a job. And that does not, like, the numbers didn't match. If this is gonna feel like a job, then it needs to pay me like a job, and it didn't. So I decided that if I don't pivot towards doing something that's fun forever, this is going to be a trap. I'm gonna dig myself a hole and I'll never be able to get out of it.
Yeah.
So early on, I realized that it's essential to make people understand that they could go fuck themselves if they want you to do something that you don't want to do. At
Yeah,
the end of the day, that's the bottom line. Unless they're paying you, right? Like if
yeah,
someone is
that's
paying you
true.
to do something you don't want to do, then it's a job and you do it. But I just identified that really early.
That's
So I
why
decided that if I'm
we
going to
love
stream
Eris.
for a living, for the long haul, then I need to change the way I do it and make sure that it stays fun. Because, at that time and even now, I've realized that streaming is a dangerous thing because you can lose sight of the fun very quickly and
Mm.
start doing something you don't like for way less than you would get doing any job. So it's really dangerous, I think, psychologically. And I just identified that early. That's all.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. I remember that you did a podcast as well, and it was getting a lot of views. But then eventually, you just said, you know what, I'm not really enjoying this, so I don't want to do this anymore. And I still remember that to this day because I'm like, I also should be trying to do things that I enjoy. I'm not going to just do things for the sake of viewership, right? It's like, do it if you enjoy it. Rip, you have been, like you said, in a very interesting position now where you're working on another fighting game, and this question of, are modern fighting games good products? A lot of people were saying that they're not. Like modern fighting games have moved away from what from what they used to be, but also they haven't really caught up with other games in other genres, right? So fighting games have failed when it comes to netcode, decent crossplay, anti-cheat, useful training tools to teach people the game. What's your opinion about that on the games that have come out, and just in general about modern fighting games?
Yeah, I remember like I didn't read the whole article about this when it came out, but I do remember there being a lot of great points in it. And coming from the perspective I'm at now, where I'm actually on a development team where we are working on fighting games, I can tell you that fighting games are a lot of work. There's a lot of time and effort that has to go into these
True.
things just to get to like the baseline, right? So I can understand where some of those issues come from, but at the same time, like going to your specific question about making things easier, I can speak to my game just a little bit, just because we
Okay,
have a
let me
very
just text
casual
him and
fan base
ask him
for
if
that
he's in
game, right? The
Islamabad.
franchise, it doesn't exist. So Invincible is like a comic that's now an Amazon Prime show, and most of those people are not going to be fighting game players, right? So you have to have this level of accessibility that they can at least enjoy the game themselves. and get
अदील
the
अगर
content.
इस्लामाबाद में तो
But
बताई
at the
जरा
same time,
तेरा एक
a lot of
फैन है
people on
यार
our
उससे भी
team
मिल ले
are fighting game veterans, and we all want something that has a lot of depth to it. So the question mark becomes, how do you have something that's accessible to start, but then still has the crazy depth for the highest level of players at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that like a difficult thing to balance? Because a lot of people will argue that Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8, which are the two biggest fighter games right now, are struggling to do that. I mean, there was just a Street Fighter 6 tournament that I went to over the weekend in Birmingham, DreamHack, and a lot of the top players were there. And I heard people complaining. They're just like, "Oh, this game is random."
Okay, I
This
just sent
person would
him
never beat this
your
person in Street
number
Fighter 4
as
and
well,
sucks, but
so
this is the
maybe
new
he
era,
gets
blah, blah, blah.
back to me
Like,
and he will
is
call
it just
you.
difficult in terms of like
Okay?
the development of a game, or is it like a conscious decision to say, do you know what, fuck these veterans, man, and let's not make it too hard. We want our game to be popular. Let's make it easy.
That's a great question. I think that's really case by case. I think the Street Fighter example is really interesting, right? Because they definitely added the modern controls, and that brought in a lot of players for them. Like I think if you look at the Evo Japan numbers, Street Fighter 6 is maybe the highest it's ever been. So that game is doing well generally, but at the highest level, sorry about that. At the highest level, the top players, they feel like things are more random now, right? Because of the drive system, specifically, and the throw loops, etc. So it's really interesting because I feel like Street Fighter 6 could just do a couple of balance changes and kind of address things for that highest level player. And I don't think it would actually hurt their casual player that much either, just because they still have the modern controls there.
Yeah. Interesting. Joey, what is your thought? I mean, I'm pretty sure that you saw the discussion going on about like how modern fighting games are failing to meet the expectations of the consumer, and they're just not keeping up with other games in other genres to keep people interested. New content. Like I'll be playing. I know, Aris, I think you don't like Night Rain, but I've been addicted to Night Rain recently, man. And to be honest, even though the updates have been a bit slow, I'm still enjoying the fact, because I'm a Tekken player. I only really play Tekken, and the fact that they can actually like bring in some content once a month or something, for me it's like, oh, that's cool. I get to
Wait a minute. Are you like a Souls fan and now you like Night Rain, or is Night Rain your main thing?
So
like your first...
I only played Elden Ring recently, so like I got
That's
into
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So that shows me that Night Rain is potentially for people that don't even like Souls games.
I liked Elden Ring. That's my first Souls game, and I played the whole thing. I went through it. I played the
Elden
DLC
Ring
as
is
well,
so
and I played all of that.
Wow.
And then Night Rain came out
So
shortly
not
after. I'm like, you
fun
know what? I
to
actually just like playing,
play,
like the mechanics of
but
like
yeah.
running
hella
around
fun
and
to
attacking and finding weapons
watch.
and stuff. So,
That's cool.
But
yeah. But
you don't have to
for
stream
me,
it,
it's
and
like
you just want to enjoy the game for yourself.
there is
maybe,
content coming out for that game.
But
There are
it's-
updates
it's
coming out.
even
There are
enjoyable
like new weapons
you're
and stuff coming
streaming.
out, and it makes me feel
Not
like this
gonna
game
lie,
is fresh.
somewhat familiar
Whereas in
with
Tekken,
others.
I think
Aris is
it
Aris का
hasn't
क्या
felt
scene
like
है?
that for
Don't
me.
know
I don't know
much
how
about
it feels for you, Joe.
He used to commentate TWT
Yeah,
finals
so I can't
alongside
speak too
Mark,
well
man.
about, like,
Arslan's
anything outside of Tekken, 'cause I
2019
don't really play
World
anything
Cup
other than
Grand
Tekken,
Final, TWT finals
but
was
the
commentated by
game
Aris and
has
Mark,
given
man.
me this feeling like
When he beat a knee
the direction
in the same
like the
year
design
as
philosophy is kind
Evo
of, like,
Japan.
muddled, like it's being pulled in multiple
Aris
directions.
is a goat.
So
He
you hear a
and
lot of that like design
Rip
philosophy, like we're gonna make things
and MYK
like simpler and
and
like, easier.
Ricksta used to
But
run
a lot of like the experience
avoiding
I've had
the
with Tekken
puddle
8,
and level up your
um,
game, basically.
like I will notice there are certain things that are, of course, like
That
easier
used to
and more
teach people
accessible
about
when you
Tekken
get
6.
access to like these high-powered options with heat. But at the same time, like even
They
as a
used to make
legacy player,
guides
there are things about
and
the
also,
game that
you know,
are
like
like
speak about the
really
game.
kind
Aris
of
is one of my
overly
favorite people
complicated
in
and
the
bloated
community.
and confusing.
And the worst
Um,
part and the
yeah,
best part
first, like
is
I do a
that
lot of like coaching for Tekken,
someone like Aris
and
once told me
for
that
instance,
he's
like
a fan
explaining
of my
something
work.
like the low
Now,
parry
if that
mechanic in Tekken, like you
burns
can like defend
someone's
against
bum,
lows
then I don't
by
know.
like holding down forward.
It's GOAT.
But in Tekken 8,
Absolute GOAT.
there's airborne
Very
lows.
straightforward person.
If a
I
low has
love people
airborne
like that.
status, you can't parry it, right?
Well, just
But there are two characters that have
straight up
unique
talk
stances that can
business.
parry the
That's who
airborne
Aris
lows.
is.
And also, if somebody does a move that has a charge status, like 1-2 charge 2 with Elisa, or Jack full charge down back 2, you can't parry those. Like, this is really complicated. And, like,
Wow. Hold
trying to
moves
keep
are
this
not
straight
variable.
in my head, like when I'm competing and playing
Good
and
stretch,
thinking
Joey.
about these scenarios, like,
Oh,
um,
Joey.
it gets really, really, like, confusing. And
Zakar,
these
Zakir
aren't like
Naik
these
has
niche
been
situations.
indirectly
You know, like if
invited to the
you block
HeatSpeak
King's Heat
show.
Smash, he's gonna run at you,
Yeah.
and you might be tempted
I
to
just
like
put
low parry
myself
it.
in
Well,
that
you
empty.
can't. You gotta block it, and your character might have a really hard time
Reminding
punishing that low.
Spag
Actually.
that he could have.
Like, where is the like accessibility
Right.
and simplicity about this? Like, this is it's complicated like in a bad way. And I think what I always liked about
लेकिन ये
Tekken
मुझे पता है
is
ये उस वजह से मुझे
um,
शायद इनवाइट नहीं कर रहे
there
हैं
was
मुझे
like a
वो भी
certain,
वजह
at
पता
least to
खैर
me as a
स्ट्रीम पे
veteran
बात
player, there's
करने
like a
के
certain
बारे
like
में कुछ
simplicity and elegance to the game, but like a ton of depth. And now it just feels all over the place to me. And so I guess to me it's failing in that way, where they say they want simplicity, but it can still be like really cumbersome and complicated.
8K
I
trash.
want to interject for a moment. You mentioned the thing about low parries and defending. If you ask me, I think Tekken is one of the most exception-heavy games in history. All the Tekken games have been, oh, you can parry that, but this one's a headbutt, and you can't parry a headbutt.
That's true.
Or
Yeah,
there
elbows,
I feel like of
headbutts,
all
and
fighting
knees
games, I've played a
cannot be
few
parried.
in the past. I think Tekken has been one of the most exception-heavy fighting games ever because it also has this level of okay, this is not necessarily a high crush, but it will go under highs. And
Yes.
this is not necessarily a tracking move, but it will track in this scenario. And I think those exceptions in Tekken, first of all, are what make it really cool. But second of all, they also make it so uninviting for new players, and it makes you sound like a fool trying to explain it to them. You almost,
Aris is
when you're
GOAT, man.
explaining the game to a new player, you almost have to lie to them in a way and say like, okay, all this will defend against all
Absolute
lows,
GOAT.
and don't even bother telling them, oh, it won't work against this, it won't work against that, because you're just going to turn them off and confuse them. It's better for them to just learn the hard way. Oh yeah, that's a knee, so you can't do that. Rather than fill them
Knee,
with all this
elbows,
information at the
headbutts
start. But
cannot be
to me,
parried.
I think that's a good
That was
thing
pretty
when it comes
cool.
to
Well,
It
Yeah.
was a
Tekken
very
in general.
thoughtful
It's
decision by
got
the
this
Bandai Namco
exception complexity that I kind of always liked.
True.
I have liked that as well. I think yeah, like
Is
we
the
all,
sound
like, as
okay?
legacy
Am I
Tekken players
loud?
know
They
about, like,
need
all
to
these
be
exceptions.
loud
I
or
think
what?
what's interesting is to make
Please
like
let me
the
know.
new generation Tekken 8,
Yeah.
and proclaim a certain degree of simplicity, and then
Yeah.
add in many more exceptions that me as a legacy player, I'm like, oh, like there's even more to worry
Yes.
about now. That seems to be like a kind of dissonance, right? Like they
Don't
added
you
in all
think
these.
that- Don't you think the thing you just said is more about what they're saying as
Shamir.
developers rather than the game itself?
I'm not
They're
smoking on
saying
stream.
shit like, "Oh, we want it to be easier," but
Sound is
they're
fine?
making
Okay,
it
okay.
easier
Thank
in
you.
this fucked up way where they just
Yes.
give you access
Bring
to
your mic a
pressure.
little
That's
closer.
easier,
Okay.
sure, but
Yeah,
it's
okay,
not
fine.
like it's still got tons of exceptions. It's still
Mhm.
got tons of complexity and convoluted types of shit. So it's easier in a way, but is that even easier? I don't know.
No.
And this
No.
I think this links directly to them saying shit like, "Oh, back to basics." But hello, like what does that even mean to you? So essentially what I'm saying is what they say and what they do
Back
is
to
not
basic is a
necessarily going to
joke
line
now,
up,
you
and
know?
I've noticed that a lot.
I think that's the
Unbelievably
big
became a
problem
joke.
and why
Yeah.
so many people are frustrated. and
so
can't
crazy.
Accept what the game is because they keep saying
Right.
things that are different from
Right.
what it is. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Like I've seen some older players in my scene that I think I've got the right mindset. They just play the game and they don't look at what people are saying, what the devs are saying. They'll look at the patch notes to check the changes, but that's it. They won't try to find deeper meaning in anything. Like the communication is terrible because they back to basics. They don't know what the basics are. They showed us that before. Foolishly, a lot of us believe that they must have figured it out after we've
All
been
of the
crying
people
for a year.
in this
But
screen
no,
are pretty good
right?
players.
So yeah, when it comes to simplicity,
Aris used to
I
be a
think personally
dragon
made
of
it more
Maine.
accessible
He was
because
pretty
there's
good
not as much
at
of
the
an
game.
execution
Rip
barrier
is
anymore.
still plays. He's
But they've added
a goat
difficulty
of a
in a way
law
that I kind
player.
of enjoy,
Super
where
Akuma
a lot
broke
more
the
things
game with
are
Akuma,
more matchup specific. For one, there's a lot
Yes.
more like matchup specific
and
interactions than we didn't
Joe
have
have
before.
always been.
And also,
Joe ripped
your
off
counters are a lot
the
more varied because
John's
now there's a lot of
Murdoch
stuff that
to
happens
get
where
popular in
it's not just
America
a question of you need to
initially.
fuzzy guard in a certain
Joe
way
used to come
or
to
you need to
Many
step to
X's
spring.
stream,
There's a lot more of you gotta
and
power
I
crush.
used to
Like
commentate
you have
there,
to
and Joe
throw them.
would
You have to
come and we
like
will talk to
a
each
bit
other.
more into the bag.
Joe is
The
a good
things that
friend.
wouldn't make you comfortable, things that as a legacy Tekken player you might not want to do,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's how you beat them.
Commentators only tournament would be sick.
Now, what they've done on the side of that is made it so that none of the counterplay is consistent, which is the bad part.
Yes.
I like the way where they've added more varied counterplay, but they've just been like, oh, but also there's that. It's like, for example, Anna's forward 3-2. She does kick into the bazooka. Like,
शामिर
if you're
तुम्हारे
fast enough,
पिछले मैसेज के
if you got a
जवाब
good
ये
parry,
है
you can
कि
parry
I
it, and
wish.
otherwise, everyone can power crush in the middle of that. And that'd be like, okay, that would be a good reaction check, and that would beat a very strong move. Unfortunately, they gave us some counter hit low. What, like, if they just didn't do that, then there would have been good counterplay of a reaction check, right? They made it more accessible, but they made it, if
Hmm.
anything, more complicated. And
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
by simplifying offense, and I said this in season 2, they forgot it's a two-player game. Someone's got to defend on the other end. Yeah, it's easier for you to press,
Yeah.
but sometimes and too often, frankly, it's too hard to defend,
Yeah.
right? Which makes the game harder. You can't say it's easier because now you have an option that beats everything on the stance. Like Lee's forward 2-1 that they added from Hitman. Everyone's crying about that, right? It's like, why did they need to add that? You could already cover that with Lee by just delaying, stepping. Like, not pressing was the option that beat
What's up, Balls?
the counterplay to
How you
that.
doing, man?
And they're
Welcome
like,
to the
no, we want to
stream.
give you an option to beat that. But that just makes it needlessly complicated on the part
It
of the
was wild
defender.
yesterday. I haven't seen
Easier
it,
on one
so
side
we're
just
going
makes it
through it.
hard on the other. And I feel like it's slightly easier for the attacker and way harder to defend. Like, it doesn't scale the same on both sides.
So
Yeah.
do you think that if let's say I'm a game developer, let's say I'm Namco, and I say I want the game to be easier. So to you, do you want that to mean easier to attack, or do you want that to mean easier to defend? To me, easier to defend is a lot worse than easier to attack, because easier to defend means the person attacking is going to always feel like this guy's going to do something to escape. So it's
Mm.
not a good idea to attack. Basically, if you make it easy to defend, then the entire game's going to fall apart. But if you
Yeah,
make it easy
no,
to
see
attack,
about that. I
right.
agree with that. My problem is that they added a lot of things that make it harder to defend by making it more interesting and more varied. So there's more mental stack because there's more things to think about.
Mm.
But they added a bunch of randomness where nothing's consistent when it comes to the counterplay because there's an extra option you have to think about that just that just
Today, just
completely beats
a
everything.
bug happened
And now
in the
now
middle of
basically
the
you have
tournament, and Edge
I feel like
just
before it was either
tweeted
easy
it.
access
Just
to a
go
mix
have a
up that's
look.
risky for the attacker, or kind of hard to get a broken mix up, right?
Mm.
And we're in a situation where they're giving easy access to easy mix ups,
Mm.
right? Which
Mhm.
is making it like, oh, now you just have
You
to
saw
do
his
this. If you look
tweet?
at the
Yeah.
Lily changes, right? Right now, what they did is they gave her really strong back turn stuff in Tekken 8. In
Yeah.
season 3, she just spends all of her time in back turn. Whereas before, she earned that mix up, and it
Yeah.
was really hard to defend against. We didn't have to defend it every 2 seconds, right? Now it's too hard because you have to defend against that really hard.
Yeah,
lane
Lily
all
can
the
literally
time.
play her
Like
whole
just
round
making
back turn
defense
now.
more varied in what you have to do in making it harder to defend and easier to attack. That was interesting,
Group
but
therapy
they've
session.
just added more randomness, which there's hard to
Trauma of
defend
Super Kuma was so apparent
uh,
in this
because things are
podcast.
just difficult.
Yeah, isn't
It's
it?
hard to defend because things are
Yeah,
just
I
random.
mean, he should
And I
be
feel
feeling
like
that way because
maybe
Super
I don't
What
know.
Kuma
is
Maybe
it?
I'm
does
What
just
does
have
looking at
random
balls
things.
to
mean? You
play
got to be more
difficult
clear about that. What
characters.
does random mean?
I actually
Like there's
empathize
more
with this
s-
guy,
there's
man.
more
I'm
situations that
not gonna
are a
lie,
straight
you
guess,
know?
whereas
This dude
before you'd have
is
like
he likes to play difficult
weighted
character like
options.
Li
Like you're more likely
Xiaolan,
to do that
you
because
Right.
this
know,
option gives way more
Akuma,
reward.
Li
Now the low gives the same reward as the
Armor
mid, and you
King.
die on
Armor
both.
King is still
And
kind
it's
of
Right,
just
but
like
that's not
there's
random.
no
easy though,
That's
but
not random at all.
maybe random's not the right word, but
Right.
it makes the mind game a lot more straight guessing rather than
Right.
weighing the options.
I
It
think
makes
it's
the mind game
important
very
to
stale.
differentiate those two, right?
yeah.
Random is random. That means, like, if I guess low, a different thing will happen each time.
Mm,
That's random.
yeah.
You're saying it's a 50-50 on the defender's part, and the defender doesn't have some kind of knowledge ability to know which choice is more valuable.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is
True,
they
true.
stripped away the knowledge. So now you truly have to guess. To you, you're saying that's random, but to them,
Yeah,
that's
random
not random.
feeling is what I should have said. Like it's not
Yeah.
random,
Yeah.
but
Right.
it makes
Right.
it feel more like that, which is what people complain about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Like I said,
outcomes.
they've added because I like Tekken 8. I'm one of those few people that can still say that, right?
Mm.
But because I like everything that they added that's good, it's just that they're trying to make it worse, which I don't know
Are you
why.
playing Lee still?
I'm playing Lee in certain matchups only. I'm playing Reina and AK as
Yeah,
those are
Armor
the two I
King
pick
and
mainly.
Reina. Yeah, he plays Reina too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, look, what you guys said, I agree with a lot of what you guys were saying in terms of like
It
them
was
trying to make
nice
the game
meeting
easier,
Super
and
Akuma
it
when he
comes
came
back
to
to you got to
Pakistan.
think about it. What is the rationale behind it, right? Like
He's a nice
to
guy.
make these changes. So in Tekken 7, if you guys remember, there were changes that were made to make the game more accessible, and I think one of them that was very good was that they made throw breaking a lot easier. Instead of having to like
Oh,
react to an
yes.
arm that was thrown out,
Throw
and
breaks
instead of
are
it being a 14
easier,
or 15
way
frame
easier
break,
now
it went to 20 frames,
than
and
they
you could
were
just break
before.
generic throws with one or two. I think that was good
Unfortunately.
because it was something that really made it difficult for new and intermediate players to play Tekken, right? So they made throw breaking a lot easier in that game. And then back roll,
Do
noobs
good
were
for
just
a
getting killed
French
because they
national.
didn't know that if they back roll in
Yeah.
Tekken, then you get killed
It's
because you
been
get
pretty
refloated for a
active.
combo. So they made back roll a lot safer.
Got
So
a
if you
lot
guys
of
ever go back to playing some of the
friends
older
in Europe,
Tekkens, you will.
so
If you've been
he
playing Tekken 7 and
travels a
8,
lot.
you will back roll unintentionally because you'll be like, oh damn, you're just
Oh.
used to it now.
Any European
But the
has
thing is,
having good English
does
is
that
not
make
really
it
surprising to
a,
me, at
a
least,
game that is
because they get to
that is
travel a
going to
lot,
sell
like within
through the roof?
Europe.
Is that the reason why Tekken 7 did so well? I don't think so. I don't believe that is the reason. And these other things that were brought up about the fact that there's no the anti-cheat's a problem and the crossplay has been not so great. People have been complaining about the netcode for a long time. Training tools to the game, teaching the people the game itself, like these things have been, I guess, missing. There are a lot of things that have happened quality of life wise in Tekken 8 that are good, like the replay system and other changes. But generally speaking, what do you guys think though, Rip? I mean, what do you think of
Oh
like
yeah,
Street Fighter and Tekken
yeah.
8? I mean,
I know
as
that
compared
bit.
to like a game like Valorant and these other games? Is it just because of gaming culture as to why those
Yeah,
games
they
are way more popular, or like the Dark Souls games and these types of things? Like, why are fighting
they
games
really
not more
like
popular now?
regard their language pretty high. French people.
That's a hard ass question, bro. How am I supposed to answer that? That seems crazy. But
If
look,
anyone would
let
know,
me
it'd be
step
you,
back.
man.
No, I would not know. Let me step back a second though, because I think to Super Kuma's point and Eris's point about the situations and how you feel like whatever you choose is not necessarily weighted correctly. I think that was 100% intentional on their design part for
Yeah.
Tekken 8, right? They wanted this offense to be overwhelming for the defensive player, and I think if I think about what the reasoning for that was,
Like sometimes I know we're literally, like hating this game and everything, but let's go back. We quickly made fun of, back to basic and everything. I'm not trying to advocate Bandai Namco here, but but they're actually correct. When they released the game, they said it's going to be aggressive. So they're sticking to their basics moving into the game. So that make a lot of sense, right? But having a lot of casino 50-50 mix up isn't that great. That's what they're talking about.
I think it was because
What's up?
they
What's up?
want
Walaikum
to
assalam,
bridge that
Anas. How
gap
are you
between legacy
doing?
players and new players.
Hope you're doing
They're
good.
just basically saying if you're a
Welcome
new
to the
player
stream.
and you learn this offensive flow, you're going to be able to stand a chance against these guys who do have 20 years of legacy defense against you. And I think
Mhm.
that's kind of where the impetus of all this Tekken 8 changes have come from. So I understand where that comes from, but I don't necessarily like the feeling that it gives me when I'm playing the game, being a veteran, and
Hmm.
having relied on my defense for all of those years.
I just want to say I agree that I think it was intentional. I'm just saying it was a very bad choice.
Yeah. It,
Well, you got to understand that a choice like that is going to be made for like a total new player, and everyone in here has at least
Zabardast,
felt
Zabardast,
the feeling of
Alhamdulillah.
being able to hold
Kuchni,
someone's
we're
head
just watching
underwater in
this
Tekken, and this design
podcast,
is literally for the
and maybe we
person
will just
underwater to be able to
end up
put you
doing
easy access
getting Reina
to
to
play
God
good player in a
after
uncomfortable
this.
situation. That
I
was
hope this
the
finishes
base
soon because I already
core
started the stream
reason
pretty
why they
late.
did that. And I obviously think that that's a bad idea because at the end of the day, the question is, it's like the topic, right? Are they good products? And it's like such a layered question. But I think that displeasing the highest level of player is always going to be a bad thing in the long run because the highest level of player needs to enjoy the game
Hmm.
and want to play it out of fun without being paid. That level of player needs to do that in order to show all lower level players
For
it's
God
worth
one
their
or
time.
two, or
If the
is he
highest level
gone for
player
good?
is saying
Of
fuck
course, I
this,
will
then
keep playing Hwari.
everyone's gonna say fuck this.
If I
So,
do have
it's
time,
really
maybe
like
I'll get into God
a bad
5, whatever
idea
the
on their part
F
to
that is.
create this
Because
concept
honestly, to
that
me,
caters
the
to
way rank
everyone.
seems
That part's
now, I
good,
can get
but
to
making the
God
top player
of
so
Infinity
displeased,
as well.
taking away so
I'm
much
not
of their
lying.
legacy skill. I mean, the proof is in
I
the
just
pudding. Look at
reached
what's
the
going
God
on.
of Destruction
People
in
don't like
4
Tekken 8,
hours.
and it's like at all levels. So there's no other
While
explanation.
it took
How
me
could everyone at all levels complain about something
months
and
to
that
get
not be
there
the explanation?
previously.
It's just, you need to please the pros. I think to have a good fighting game, you need to please the pros. It's just the only way it can be done.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what Arslan said as well on the podcast when he was there the last time I did it. He said that, if the pros are
Inappropriately,
happy
of course.
and, your
No,
long-time content
thank
creators
you.
and the people that have been around for a long time, then,
Will you be
a
at
community
TCL
can
event?
grow and,
In
people who wanna get
Lahore,
into the
I
game will see
might
that
be.
people are enjoying it and then the competitive is really hype and, that's one of the reasons
Still
why I
waiting
think
to
Tekken
be
7 did so well, and
invited
I think
by
that
the
really puts
TCL
us
folks.
swiftly on to the
If you guys are
next topic. We've already
watching,
been pretty much
please
talking
do.
about it, right? But Tekken 8 Season 3. And I want to show you something that Ulsan wrote. And this is profound
Ulsan
because
made a
I know
great
that
tweet
generally
about
the
this.
Japanese and Korean players are not the type of people to kind of go public and say things, too much. But it's come to a point where I think there is a
Yes.
little bit of desperation now. And
Rank is
Ulsan,
very
is a
easier,
genuine guy.
man. Okay,
This is what he had to
where
say.
is the
So if you have a look at
freaking
the screen,
chat?
he says, if Tekken is to be loved again, I believe the answer is very simple. High risk, high return.
Okay, guys, would you mind if I fix the chat, or you guys okay without the chat? Because I think I should do that really quickly because a lot of people, particularly on YouTube, um, do not see chat. So I'm just gonna embed chat. Let's copy this and done with it. Okay, back with it. Play this.
Low risk, low return. It's such a simple concept, but I don't think it works in Tekken 8. I just hope all players don't end up feeling frustrated or unfairly treated and leave anymore. By reducing high risk options and focusing on improving win rates, players studied countless
That's
fundamentals
strange.
and created high level game, and that's what made everyone love Tekken. But now, instead of that kind of effort, the focus has shifted to simply making the right choices, and that's probably why the game feels less appealing. Easy games are quick to play, quick to pick up to play, but they tend to get boring faster than expected. No future. Then he says, I don't miss Tekken 7. I miss what it felt like. Beating players like Knee, Arslan Ash, the best of the best, used to mean something. It felt like pure skill overcoming that time. Now, when top players lose, it's still shocking, but it doesn't feel special anymore.
Okay, I
A
think
lot of
this
people
should
say
do
that they
it.
got lucky when they win and unlucky when they lose. I've won EWC twice, and I
Okay,
said
I
I'm
think it's
lucky.
back. Yeah.
Not because I'm humble, but genuinely I feel like I was really lucky. I want to be able to say that I'm the best when I win. That's why I want Tekken to change soon. Very strong statement there from the guy that's won $500,000, by the way, is saying this game, he doesn't like it. And, you know, he feels like he got mad lucky by winning, you know, EWC
Funny
twice.
as hell.
Very funny. Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's what I was
it was
saying
so
with the
shocking.
mind game, man. Like it doesn't feel rewarding, even if you guess right. Like
Mhm.
Mm.
they're just forcing you in these situations where it's just you got to make the right choice, and you get put in these situations too easily. I was saying, like I was saying, you need either low risk, low reward, or high risk, high reward. That's what I said literally 5 seconds ago.
I stopped playing
But now you
special
got low risk, high
style at the
reward
right time
on a
because I
on a
accidentally
straight
enabled it
guess.
today.
Like,
And now at the start of
I'll put
every
a good
round,
example.
it
'Cause you said you
plays
felt lucky.
the
I was lucky enough to
non-style
beat
move
cooldowns
and
recently
takes
at
a
the
moment to
LCQ,
work
right?
accordingly.
I
Yeah.
felt like I just robbed the man. Like it barely
You'll
felt
get
good.
you
Like
of course you're getting used to it.
he didn't break a ground
It
throw.
barely felt
He d-
good.
he ducked, right? He ducked on a
Barely felt
50-50,
good. dude.
and then he didn't duck on a 50-50, and he was dead. You look at that final round, and it's just I launched something that isn't launch punishable. I don't even know how he got hit. Then he just doesn't break a throw, guesses wrong twice, and he's dead. But he didn't have an opportunity to do anything but guess.
Mm.
Yeah. To be
So
fair,
it's
you have been robbing people all of Tekken 7 as well, so it's not like you.
And a lot of the time, I was like, "This is bullshit."
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes
okay.
I outplayed people, and sometimes I was like, "Wow, you played yourself."
Well,
I
Akuma
thought you
was
were gonna
still
say something,
difficult to
but,
play nonetheless.
no,
So
No?
So,
I thought you
Say something anyway.
Say something anyway, yeah.
oh, hell were we talking about? I don't remember.
I like
was
the
really paying
subject
attention.
of. I like the. You moved on, but I like the subject of our fighting games, good products. I think there's a lot to unpack in that subject because
yeah.
there's also the concept of the change of before when a fighting game came out, that's what it was, and then it changed to now we're trying to do a live service. But and now you guys tell me what you think about this. Do you think any fighting game has done the live service season to season patch note type of thing well? I think it's never been done well by any fighting game. And I think
That's
that
true.
fighting game devs are posers. They're pretending like they have live service games. They're putting out patch notes. They're putting out, oh, we listen to the community, that type of vibe, but it's fake. They are not good at it. The products themselves are full priced with paid characters and paid season passes. The whole thing's phony. I think that fighting games
That's
are
true.
pretending because they don't know what else to do. They're trying to sell a product. They don't know who to copy. So they're looking around in the gaming space and they're like, okay, we need to copy someone to make money. Let's copy the live service model. But they're total posers. They don't know how to do it right. They do it terribly. And you could tell by this Tekken 8 shit that happened. For an entire year, they didn't touch the game to maintain competitive integrity. And then when they finally do, all the competitors are so pissed. If they're going to piss off competitors, you might as well do it and save the game a year ago. Change the game, fix the game, piss off competitors. You're going to do it later anyway. It's just like, to me, from my perspective, fighting game devs don't know how to make money with fighting games. So they're trying desperately
Wow,
to
what
copy
a tip.
and be posers and see what works. And none of it's working. Fighting games should not have that business model, in my opinion. In another game, like let's say World of Warcraft or whatever, right? You don't spend like painstaking hours practicing one little technique so that you can do it when you're in a tournament. You don't do that. So it doesn't matter if they change the game. But in a fighting game, you wasted so much time. If they nerf this or if they change it, it's too much to pour into if they're just going to change it. And that's why I think this live service model is not good. It's not good for fighting games. The model of version 1 and then they sell you another version like Dark Resurrection, that works so much better for fighting games because you can count on it. The player themselves can
Yeah.
say, okay, this is the way it's going to be. Even if, let's say, Lily is cheap,
Tekken 5
you
DR was
know
really
that
good.
Lily is cheap. Let's work on the matchup. Let's find some counterplays. And that's the way it's going to be. But with this model, knowing how hard it is to learn things, wouldn't you say a smarter person would just wait for it to be nerfed? Like,
Mm.
why even learn a bad matchup? Just wait, enough people will whine, and it will be nerfed. And that in itself changes everything about the dynamic of competition, of the game evolving,
Mm.
of everything. The entire landscape changes if you have a live service model. And so I think personally, no fighting game has done it well. And the answer to are
True.
fighting games good products, if they're trying to be posers and have
Okay, let me put it this way. So as you guys know that I have not only been commentating Tekken, I have been commentating Fatal Fury, I've been commentating King of Fighters, I can even now commentate 2XKO. Alright. But the thing is, what I observed, like back in Cure 15, I remember in the first patch, Vanessa was top tier, Terry was top tier, and there was one more character I can't recall who was very top tier. But after the first patch, when everyone started to pick those two, oh yes, Vanessa, Ralph, and Terry in Kira 15 on launch, they were very strong. So what was happening that most of the people were actually started having those two, particularly like Terry and Vanessa in their team. And the fun part was like to me it wasn't fun because Vanessa was something to me was very precious and not many people would play with her because of her skill gap and shit. But that actually forced a lot of people to pick Vanessa. But on the bad side, on the wrong side, what just happened was that when they nerfed Vanessa, she was never as good as she was in the first patch. And that's where it's wrong. Because you actually literally killed a character in the first season, and now no one wants to play that character because you just, you know, freaking nerfed him. So my point here is that why would you wanna buff a character at the very start of the game on release to eventually nerf them later, right? This is what my question is. And I've been saying the same thing about Tekken 8. I've said it that why Dragonov is the meta character. Why? Why a character, why a game that has the Tekken 8 is a turn-based game. I just need my plus frame and press buttons. That's what I want to do. But then I found out that Dragonov already has a running 2. He already has a back 4-2, back 4-3, and this game is all about turn-based. So yes, I'll keep taking my turn by just doing running 2. And then I also have a solid load like down back 3+4, which is now nerfed. So you get what I'm saying, like how you're literally like feeding the beast like Dragonov, but you're actually keeping character like Reina at the shores from getting into the sea, because there's definitely a clearly a skill gap between these two characters. Dragonov is pretty easy to pick, but Reina isn't. So that's my whole point was.
season passes and shit, then no. It's always going
Because it's sometimes really unfair to certain players and certain characters.
to be the case. No, they can't be good products if they're trying to be a live
At
service,
that,
in my
yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, you
And
make a
that
lot of good points there. I mean,
pigeon roll.
if you look at the older Tekkens, I remember when Tekken Tag 2 came out, and it was basically the same game from beginning to end. Like, there wasn't any buffs, nerfs, and this, that, the other. There was a couple of changes very early on because of some bugs. Other than that, it was the same game that you had to learn to play. Rip, you've been competing for a long time as well. I know Joey as well. You've been playing Tekken for a long time too, and I know I mean, for you, what do you think as well as a person that's competed in the older Tekken's Rip that, you know, the fact that you were able to just kind of learn the game and know that this is the game I'm going to be playing for the next few years, and you know I can't just wait for Anna to be nerfed or just complain on Twitter all the time. This is a culture change that we've seen recently here when Tekken 7 started bringing in these seasons and stuff, right?
True.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I miss the old days. I'm thinking back to Tekken 5, Tekken 6. Obviously, 5.0 was super broken, but if you were a competitor, you knew it was broken and you knew those were your options, right? Like, I could become a Steve player and figure that out. You move on to Tekken 6, sort of the same situation. Lars and Bob are crazy. Law's good, so I'm lucky. And, that's just how it works out and plays out. You get to Tag 2, and all of a sudden, I remember when that launched, they had all the console characters released that weren't in the arcade version, and there was like an infinite with Ancient Ogre right at launch. And then they patched that out within like 3 days. I was like, oh, they can patch the game. That's really interesting.
Mhm.
But then they
Yeah.
didn't afterwards, right? So they just let it be. So that was really cool and interesting. But going to Eris's point of the seasonal model that fighting games have kind of become now,
Mm.
where you have DLC characters and you expect 3 or 4 of them per year or something, whatever it may be, depending on the game. That model for me, it doesn't really click for me. Like I don't prefer it at all. And the one that really the time I really noticed it was actually with Street Fighter 6 because the DLC character was M Bison, and I'm thinking I've seen M Bison since Street Fighter 2, right? And now he's just a DLC character that comes on later. I think the longer a franchise has been out, it's harder to resell those OG characters as DLC even for
Yeah,
the season
yeah,
passes, right?
totally,
So that
totally.
part is not enticing to me. I definitely prefer the old way where it was like Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4, Ultra
Yeah,
Street Fighter 4, and you get this
Mm.
big updates. All the moves are updated for the characters. You get a couple more characters. That's what I prefer. But I think as a business model, like, what do you do in that sense? I don't remember how Street Fighter did it back then, but were the updates like only $30 or something, or was it like a full price game each time? I don't even remember.
Mm.
not full price.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think if you had the game, it wasn't full price, but they'd set it again at full price.
I
Mm.
see. So if you want like just the upgrade from regular to the super version or
Yeah,
the ultra version, it's like
I'm
30
sure
bucks
it did.
more. I see. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like the same as buying a season pass in a way too, right? It's just structured a little bit differently. But I
Well,
do
it's
miss
just you
that
don't get the
structure.
frequent updates in between, basically.
Hmm.
I think it's more the culture shift that's around it, because you're like, maybe if we complain enough, we could get a patch next month and get things fixed quicker. If you're just like, okay, every couple of years we get like a new season or a new expansion pack,
Mm.
it wouldn't, like, we'd complain, but we wouldn't be flooded with complaints, I think.
Yeah.
I
It,
don't
it
You
think
is
also
it's
have
it
to
is
as
look
strange.
at
much,
it
but I
from
think
the
the
other
culture
perspective.
there.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, yeah, I think it's more of a culture shift than the fact that that's a way better model for
You
the
know,
game
this
itself.
idea of a culture shift, if you look at it from the other perspective, from the perspective of the developer, right? So let's say you're the developer of a fighting game, and on October 30th you have to put out Tekken Dark Resurrection. All of the changes that you make to the game are going to be double, triple checked because this is when the game comes out. But let's say you have 3 patches between now and October 31st. The first patch, you're gonna be like, oh, if I fuck it up, I'll change it in patch 2. And then the second patch, oh, well, you're not gonna put as much effort into each revision of the game because the culture has changed. If you make a mistake, you have the ability to fix it later. But if you
I
don't
mean,
have that ability, if you have to put out a game at this date, you're gonna make sure it's a good fucking product. The culture is a factor from both ends, is what I'm saying.
for sure. But I think with what they did for season 2, because unfortunately for them, we can tell so much work got put in to do the worst possible thing they could have done in every spot. They did 1,500 changes, which is huge. That could have been a Dark Resurrection, right?
Hmm.
That was a whole pack worth of content, right?
So what's
Everything
wrong with it
changed.
then?
It was bad. Like at 1,500 changes, they were all bad in their own way. There must have been like 10 good changes in those 1,500. Just
Can I
added
can I
plus
can I
frames
ask you this?
everywhere.
Let me
Uh,
do devil's advocate, okay?
go
Let's
ahead.
say I'm the guy who made that, right? Let's say I'm Namco. You say it's bad, but those were all deliberate
Shabash
changes
beta.
that I put a lot of thought into, and it's the way
Bachchan
I
क्या
like
हाल
it.
है
It's the way
आपके?
I want my game to be. So what's your defense about that when you say it's bad? Obviously, I put a lot of effort into it.
सुन रहा हूँ
1,500
सुन रहा हूँ
changes.
सुन रहा हूँ
Yeah,
क्या
All
it
क्या
those
was a lot
changes
of
are the way
effort.
I want them to be.
क्या
What do you think, man?
अच्छी
I,
उसकी
I
interesting
think, look at
takes
the
हैं.
reviews. Like, it seems that everyone except for you agrees that that's bad. So, season 3, can we go back to basics? And then we
Right.
didn't. That's the
Okay.
problem. Because I think season 2, I respect them for trying something. I do. Like, they changed a lot, and you can tell they did put in effort. It's just that they put it in the wrong places. Their vision was not aligned with the player base. And they messed up once. Like they did a big mess up. If it was a Dark Resurrection instead of a season 2 and it ended up the same, we would
मोटू
have complained. It would have been bad.
सबकी
Right?
तसल्ली कर रहा है
Then,
वो
then
भाई
they had
इस
the
वक्त.
opportunity to fix it because we're on to this next subject, season 3. The thing that is so bad about season 3 is that they got the feedback they needed to not make the same mistake. And they didn't exactly make the same mistake. Like there's more to it than that. But season 2 was terrible. And then they're like, okay, we listened. We understand what was wrong. They did like 6 months worth of patching where they reeled back everything they did. Then they leave us 6 months with no patch. And season 3 is just going back to what they were doing before, like in the original season 2 patch, and not when they were reeling it in.
ठहरो
So
भी.
like I understand that they have their vision for
क्या
it,
मतलब? You
but
watched
if
it?
you're getting review bombed and like I
You've already watched
struggle
it.
to find anyone who's like, okay, I think this was good. You always find a couple, but like it's an overwhelmingly negative reception.
Totally
Like
is.
in
It totally is.
in season 2, I was like, okay,
क्या
they tried,
मतलब?
they failed.
Is he?
Happens.
Did he
Why did
talk about
you
me?
did it again? You just
What?
did it again.
Well, two things. You know, Joey Fury's
I
camera
hope
broke.
not.
Yeah, I think he's muted as well, so I think he's in like a be right
Yeah.
back, so he'll probably be back in a
Oh,
bit.
maybe he's
Yeah.
taking a piss.
Maybe.
But the thing I wanted to bring up, right, in this concept, right? So you're saying season 2 they tried something, it was bad. Season 3 it was bad, right? But I want you to look
You
at it from the
bloody Tekken
perspective.
player.
You said it was they made a huge mistake in season 2. But if you think about the package of Tekken 8 from the ground up, season 2 and 3 is just doubling
Tekken
down
players,
on
okay.
what they wanted to make with
Well,
Tekken 8.
I'm not
right?
just Tekken
Like,
player, you know.
in
I'm more than
from
that.
the
Yeah,
perspective
okay.
of
Can
Go
I
ahead.
cut you off there, please?
Please.
Yeah, because it's a live service game, I think that that's the problem. Is if you're making a live service game, you have to listen to the feedback and not do what you want to do. It's a
They're
live
posers, dude.
service.
They're posers. I'm
Yeah,
telling
no,
you.
no, no. I'm saying that, no,
they're-
I agree with you when you said they're bad at their job,
Yeah.
right? Because
I-
like
it-
I'm saying, especially because it's live service, they shouldn't do just what their vision is.
Sorry,
When
Tekken
you're
8
just putting out a
players.
product and then you don't touch it again, maybe like one bug fix or whatever, and you
I'm
don't touch
not
it again.
a sorry.
That was
Tekken
my
8
vision.
player.
This is my game. Like it, don't like it, don't like it, right? Pretty simple. But if it is
Stockholm
live
syndrome.
service, then you have to listen. That's the whole point of
my
having a
point
live
is,
service.
When I say they're posers, I don't mean they're bad at their job. I mean it's not live service. It's you think it is because it's
Well, if it's
presented
supposed to
like
be.
it is. It's not. It's not like they're pretending like it's live service because of the way it's sold now. But it's not. They're gonna do what they want, and they're gonna like, dude. This is their vision.
Yeah, we
Obviously,
agree. I'm
someone-
saying they shouldn't because if they're pretending it's live service, stop pretending and make it like a live service and listen to the feedback instead of just doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like
I feel
what
like
you
we're
want to
not- we're-
do.
You and me are
was a
missing each
mistake.
other. We're missing each other.
I think
what I'm
we're.
trying to tell
I think
you
we're
is-
agreeing.
we
but we're
are
not
but
saying
you're-
the same thing.
No, what you're trying to do here is you're trying to tell them that they're wrong. But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to tell you is they're not wrong. They are doing what they want to do and they're doubling down on it. You don't like it, but they're not in their eyes, they're not wrong. This is Tekken 8. This
True.
is what we
Someone
made.
being not wrong in their eyes doesn't make them not wrong.
Well, is that true? Look at those
Yeah.
mountains over there. Everyone's
I
responsible.
know you're playing
for
devil's
their own
advocate, right? But
reality.
like a lot, like I'll give you a very extreme example. People are racist, right? Are you saying
boy.
because that's what they think they're not wrong? No, they're wrong. Don't be racist. That's not
So
good.
you're telling me that Tekken 8 is equivalent to racism?
I was very offended when I read the patch notes for season 2, man.
It's not that bad, dude. It's not that bad.
Listen, I'm
Okay.
still unfortunately very grounded and very
Oh my
dependent on
God.
Tekken. I need it to be good. This game still is like
Yeah.
90% of my life.
It's
What
amazing
the
to
day,
me.
if one day I manage to make it out of the trenches like you did, and I
Yeah.
aspire to, big respect, man. But that day, I will be able to say, just do what you want, guys. I don't
Yeah.
care.
I know what you mean.
Unfortunately, that's my whole life.
I recently went back and listened to some old footage of me talking about Tekken, and I told Rip I was blown away at how much I cared. I
Mm.
was so passionate. I was so like you could hear in my voice that I
Yeah.
cared so much about this. So I can
It's
relate to
always
you.
great hearing
But
the
Yeah.
old eras. I
from
understand.
someone who is detached, let me
I
tell
mean, I
you,
still enjoy
don't
hearing him.
expect
I still
them
go
to
to
agree
his.
with you. They they're not racists, but you
I
know
didn't call them. I didn't call them
they
racists.
made a product, and this is what they wanted to make. And when season 2 and 3 comes out, kind of reinforcing that, you can no longer, well, you can do whatever you want, but it's not in your own best interest to expect them to agree with you at this point. You know that,
Oh,
and that's
I'm
what I
not. I'm not.
in the analogy of a racist, right? I can here across from this guy who's a racist, right? And at a certain point, I'm gonna stop telling him, dude, that's wrong. Stop being that way. Instead, I'm gonna stop playing Tekken 8 and I'm gonna let Tekken 8 be whatever the fuck it wants to be because I'm not gonna be able to change its mind. They've already shown me season 2 of being a racist, season 3 of being a racist. At this point, why am I gonna even bother? You know, why am I even gonna bother? This is what they want to
Yeah,
be.
and that's what I think for a lot of people that were still very invested. That's what season 3 told us. Is that what you just said? Is like
Yeah.
season 2 is like fool me once.
Hmm.
Season 3 is okay. I get it now. That's I'm not expecting anything anymore.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Nee tweeted or said it on stream or whatever. He said, "I think it's beyond saving now." He didn't say that before, but he did say it,
Interesting.
that it's beyond saving now.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that's the feeling I get. No, I'm not expecting them to agree with me. I'm saying they should have done what not necessarily everything I think is good, but like what the community was asking for. But now I'm not expecting them to. And this patch is the reason people are so pissed because realistically the patch is a, I believe, net positive. There's more good in this patch than in the
Hmm.
previous patch. It's still bad, but like they made good changes along with so many bad changes, right? But it just shows that no, they're gonna quadruple down, quintuple down if they have to. And now we get it. Now we're like, okay, it's we should have seen it sooner, sure, but this patch is symbolic of okay, let's stop expecting things. Basically.
Or
Joe,
you could
sorry, go on.
go ahead.
Go on.
I was just gonna say you can expect more of what you have. You bought a
Oh
product,
yeah, yeah. I'm
and
not expecting
that's
what we
what you
want,
can
but
expect.
expecting more of what we have. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Joey, you've been quiet for a while. So the topic of conversation was about, Tekken now being a live service game. Is that and Aris saying, do you know what? It really isn't. It's not what you think it is. It seems like it is. But if, as Super Kuma said, if nothing is being listened to when people are giving feedback, then what is this really? I mean, what's your opinion on this and how things have gone down in season 2? Because we're now at the 1 year
See how
anniversary. 1st of
straightforward
April last year, season 2 dropped, and
Iris
one
is.
year later, what do we think, Joey?
Um, I think the developers, they definitely do react to an extent to criticism and suggestions. I think my issue with the game, like, Eris was making this point, or perhaps playing devil's advocate of like they've got their vision and they're doing it, and this is what it is, and you either like it or you don't. That may be true. I kind of get a feeling that, like I was mentioning
Of
before,
course, they
there are things
also
being
need
like
to,
pulled in
bring the
different
new fan
directions.
base in.
Like
So
maybe
this is
certain people on
also
the development team
something that
have like an idea, and I get
they
a
have in
feeling
mind.
like a producer comes in and says, "No, make it more like this. Make it like more high-powered offense, faster paced this." And I feel like this tension in the balancing sometimes, and you can even see it like sometimes a move will get changed, like like frame data or property data will get changed, and then it'll get changed back to what it was before or later. Like
King
there's
homing giant swing.
this flip flopping thing that
Yeah.
goes on, right?
Forming giant
Or
swing.
even just subtle things like
Good
the
example.
frames on Claudio back 3-3. Like it's -12. Now it's -10. Now it's -12 again. Um, they definitely react to a certain extent to the criticism that's happening, and um, I almost suspect that
Yeah, I wonder why it
the
was
the bigger problem
-10
is
to
like
begin with.
lack of cohesive, unified vision. I think, like Eris was saying, when you had these earlier Tekkens, what's so great about it, what was so great about them back then is like you'd have your arcade release and you do your beta testing, and they would get like high level players to come in and do play testing and consider the feedback. And then they would like release the first iteration, and usually it would come out with like a whole bunch of issues and balancing bugs, and then they would do like the refined
Innocent.
iteration, which is like Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, Tekken 6 BR, Tekken 7 Faded Retribution, whatever. And there's that again, like Eris was saying, there's like you've got this deadline, and like you've got to release it, and like have everything ironed out and be proud of it. And yeah, now there's this like you can mess it up and like we'll just change it later. This can be crazy and we'll just change it later. And what I really don't like is how they'll even flip flop on something like the past year. It was like, we're not going to balance the game, we're not going to touch it because the tour's going on. But I remember the first year the game came out, I was about to travel to Sweden for this big
yeah.
tournament.
Same, bro. Same.
And like a week or two before, like I've been prepping for this tournament. I've got my strategies. I've got like my things that I like to do, my flow. And they drop a patch, and it goes, "You can step the heat burst now. Your throws don't track now." Huge system overhauls, completely changes the way you have to play the game. Victor can go into stance off the running 2 now. Like they changed all this stuff, and I show up at the tournament and surprise, like I can't do what I've been training to do.
Yeah,
Right?
I lost
Everybody had
round
to
one
overhaul
to
it.
stepped throws.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
had to overhaul it right away. So it's just the lack of consistency. You know, like I think anytime you want to make something great, whether it's like a video game or art or whatever, there's got to just be like the vision, like the unified vision that you go after. And I feel like with Tekken 8 and like the balance patch era, it just gets pulled all over the place. Like, let's listen to the high level guys, let's listen to the low level guys that don't know what they're talking about, listen to the producers, listen to what, like, it just feels so all over the place.
It's almost
Um,
like they don't know how to do it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it feels to me like fighting game devs are like the little rascals. They're on top of each other's shoulders, wearing a trench coat, pretending to be a live service game, but they're not really. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to do it. So it feels like they're being stretched from all angles. Maybe they're listening in one department, but it's just obvious to me that these guys are in over their head when it comes to being a live service. You
And then it also comes back to the previous heat speak that when I said that the guy who's responsible for the hit boxes and hurt boxes isn't meeting the guy who is responsible for illusion system animation. Get what I'm saying?
can even see it in their business model, like the way products come out that you can buy and the way like advertisements show up in game. It just feels so non-organic. Chipotle or Karate Kid hoodie, or
Oh, that
it
was so
just
bad.
feels
Oh yeah.
so like we don't know how to do this in a way that's smooth. So we're just gonna do it in a way that's not smooth. And it feels like
Chipotle.
poser shit. Like they're just
The Nike was
not
still
good at it.
good.
And
Bro,
the thing
the
you're
strand
mentioning
of
how
hair, bro.
it's
Remember that?
inconsistent, that is a like sign. The fact that it's inconsistent is a sign that they are trying to be a live service but are not good at it. Really.
Hasn't I
Yeah.
mean the one thing I will say is Street Fighter 6 has blown the fuck up in Japan specifically. And I don't know about how they've been doing their live service, or even if it has anything to do with how big the game's become, because I believe that a game can become big from things external to the actual game itself. I believe that Tekken 7 became big largely because of the community and because of Tekken World Tour and all the storylines behind it. The Pakistan story, the Kudans like 2017 when he won, and the community and the content creators getting together. It was just a healthy time. And I think the one of the major reasons which might be overlooked is that the community really came through and did their thing. And this is something we were talking about before, right, Super Kumar? And I think Street Fighter 6, there was some really big events. Marketing wise, they did a really good job, and now it might be the most popular game in Japan. Just in general, right? Now I don't know if if it's because of the game itself, or maybe they're different to the way that it's done in Tekken. But I think that you guys are right when it comes to the live service aspect of Tekken. But one thing I will say though, Joey, is you're saying that things are being pulled, and it doesn't seem like there is one cohesive vision. What if that is the vision though? What if the vision always was?
Chaos?
No. What if the
That's-
vision was we're gonna keep it
What?
stance
But it's
based?
sad.
Okay.
We're gonna no, it's the game's gonna be stance based. There's gonna be really crazy aggression. We're gonna make sure the intermediates and lower level players can beat the high level players, because that will bring in more people. That will create more hype. And Tekken World Tour has been proof of that, because we've seen some crazy upsets and blah blah blah. Like, what if that was the vision? And that's why we're getting what we're getting.
Yeah. Like, well, that is a vision, but like, I guess ultimately it's subjective. Like, is that a good vision? So like, go into it and like undermine defense, make it so that the underdog's got like a way bigger puncher's chance, and just make it like more effects and bigger booms, and like we're gonna sell more copies, right? It just makes me think of like, um, there's this clip, this like film director David Lynch, and he's like behind the camera, and he's there like shooting his scene, and then this producer kind of comes up and he's like, yeah, no, but we might want to like trim the length of this scene, and he like turns over and he's like, the fuck you talking about? Like, the length of the scene? What's wrong? Like, I'll make it as long as I want to make it. And he starts like bickering with this producer, and you see like this tension between like producer and the artist, right? And it just reminds me of like some like Hollywood studio executive, like, oh, we gotta sell more copies. We gotta sell, make it bigger, and make it more like spectacular. Like, what about like making like a super cool, quality, artistic, like awesome thing that like
Doesn't exist.
it's just like cool in itself, instead of coming into it with this approach of like gotta sell copies and gotta make it like as
Yeah, it's all about
mass appeal as
copies
possible.
now,
I just like don't think
particularly
cool
in
things get
modern
made that way.
times.
But I guess it's easy for me to say when I don't have like financial stake in it. But that's just like my perspective as an artist. Like, you gotta make like the cool, high quality thing for the sake of it, not like to sell copies. But I mean, they are a business, of course. But I think
That's
like a
that
better
feeling
strategy.
was gone a long time ago, Joey. I feel like originally when we first started seeing Harada around, it was more that way. But every time I saw Harada in like the last 5 years, it was, oh man, I hope we sell enough copies, or oh, each character is so expensive to make now, or it just has always been that way. And what can you
Yeah.
expect when you put an 8 behind your franchise's name? It's no longer about passion. It's no longer about art. It's about how much
But
is
it was
eight,
once.
eight gonna make. And the
I
thing
feel
you
like it was
mentioned,
once about passion
that's
and art.
true.
Sorry.
That it must have been in order to become popular in the first place.
Yes.
There has to have been some art and passion and everything
Mm.
involved. And the thing you mentioned earlier, Spaghetti Rip, about
Like Tekken
Tekken
3,
7
for
and how you think
instance,
that the
it
storylines
was
and
literally
the
made
community and everything is responsible
with
for
sheer
that game
passion.
being good. In
Even
my
Tag 1.
eyes, the only thing that gave Tekken 7 a chance was that Street Fighter 5 fucking sucked ass. If that game didn't suck, Tekken 7 would have been just like every other Tekken. Good or bad, no one would have given a fuck about it. And I know, I've been there since the first Evo, the one that didn't have any 3D games. They added 3D fighting games to Evo as almost like we're gonna throw them a bone. Evo was always Street Fighter. Every
Yeah.
fighting game has always been about Street Fighter. It's Street Fighter. It's always been, and it will always be. But in
Yep.
that one window of time in history, Street Fighter fucking sucked, and everyone knew it. and they started looking around, and Tekken 7 was solid. Tekken
Yeah.
7 was never some masterpiece. It just had good timing, and it was solid. It was solid. So
Thank
everyone
you
jumped
so
on
much.
board. And, that's what's different about it now. Now things have flipped around. I think Street Fighter 6 is not that great of a game, but it's solid at a time when everything else fucking sucks. And that's what's going on with it, really.
I was literally talking about this and uploaded a YouTube video of me saying that.
Yeah,
Literally, I
I mean,
said the exact same thing last week. I remember during Tag 2, the Street Fighter 4 players were bullying us, making fun of us because
yes,
saying, and they were
yes,
saying like,
Yeah.
"Why are you playing this game? There's no
yeah,
point playing that." Like
yeah.
I remember that, and then Tekken 7 arrived, like you said, when Street Fighter 5 sucked. Like
Hmm.
Tekken 7, like I should be a person that praises Tekken 7 so much. You know what? I don't want to go back to it. Give me all the Tekkens and I'm enjoying myself. Well, every time I play Tekken 7, I don't really like the game that much, and I didn't play it that much during the day. I played it enough to get good, but then when I was in my free time and want to have fun, that's not what I played.
I
Like
mean,
it
seven in
just
its
arrived at the
prime,
right time. It just arrived at
right?
the right time.
Seven in its
Yeah.
prime was not some historic Mona Lisa masterpiece. It was
Yeah.
just a
This is exactly what I was saying, and people actually thought that I'm actually shitting on the game as well. Like I said that Tekken 7 isn't the best game because if we just look back at Tekken 6, what we had, they they recently introduced mechanics like, bound. Every character gets to have a wall carry move and a specific wall ender move. It was a pretty good meta, and we kind of enjoyed that very part. But in Tekken 7, what they did was that they removed the bound and just added a tail spin. The whole game was Tekken 6, but what they added was Rage Art and the Tailspin. That was all we got. So when did we get the heat? When did we get the Rage Drive in season 2? That's when we got this Rage Drives. But then again, it was a bad game in particular because it was Akuma was actually being tested in a 3D game and it failed. He had a lot of problems. People had the same, like, people are still reacting the same way they used to react. People are reacting to Tekken 8 the same way they used to react to Akuma because they felt really helpless against him, right? That's what I was saying. That's why it wasn't a great game. It actually came on the right time, and it was a boom of 3D Tekken.
solid Tekken
Yeah, it
game.
was it
In
was it was
fact,
fine.
even in its prime, there were some really questionable things in it, and there was a
Hmm.
lot of like people were really displeased. But still, relative to what was available, it was solid. And I think that's a big factor. And obviously, Tekken 8 is not solid, like obviously.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
think I think yes, Street Fighter 5 not doing well at launch definitely left a window of opportunity for Tekken. But to Spag's point, I really think that if Tekken was still just Tekken, it would not have taken off the way it did without the Tekken World Tour and the storylines and the community rallying like it did. Because I feel like that really
of
pushed
course.
it so much more than
Hmm.
it would have otherwise.
Sure,
Yeah.
but in
I
order for someone to look in this direction and even care about storylines, they have to care about Tekken in the first place. Instead of it being like, ugh. Do you remember those days where they'd be
Of
like, what do you
course.
enter? What do you play? And you say Tekken, and they're like,
Tekken?
ugh.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
remember,
that's how
man.
it was. That's
Yeah.
how it was. And at that time, it wasn't because the game fucking sucked the way it is now. It
Hmm.
was because the people just didn't want to play it. Tekken was great. Tekken has been really good my whole life. It's always been good. But
Hmm.
that doesn't mean people saw it as good.
Mhm.
It was like a fucking bathroom fighter for years. It
Yeah.
wasn't until Tekken 7 really it was at that right window. It was just lightning in a bottle, It was a
Yeah.
good game, good
And
enough.
Arslan
Street Fighter
actually
stepped
made it
aside.
more
That's why
hype.
it was sick.
I
That's
think that might have
true.
been the catalyst, right? Like it was the thing that gave Tekken a big boost. And I remember specifically because I started traveling for Tekken World Tour as a commentator, official commentator for the first time, and it was cool to see that even Street Fighter players were playing Tekken. they were like, bro, fucking hate
Yeah.
Street Fighter, man. Like some of the best Street Fighter players are like, you know, they're playing Eliza and
A
Akuma
lot
in
of people
Tekken 7
actually
now because
did
they're like,
show
yeah, fuck Street
interest in
Fighter, I
playing
can't
Tekken
play
7.
it. It's too stressful, blah blah. Kind of what some people are saying now about
And
Tekken
it only
8.
because their game actually
but
sucked,
still,
not
like
because
Rip said,
Taken
you know,
was
after that, you know, I think
awesome.
the community did take that opportunity by, you know, and ran with it, you know, took the opportunity, ran with it, and said, okay, let's do
Taken
something here. Let's keep our
officially
game. Let's
died after
let's
Tekken
teach people
Tag
about our
Tournament
community
1.
and show
It
people how hype
revived
Tekken can be. There were so
itself
many sick
after
moments
Tekken
in
6.
7. Let me ask you a question,
Tag
Gareth,
2
because you've been doing a
was
lot of
too
restreams
much,
still, even though you haven't been playing the game.
and
but you still
7
watch them,
actually
though, right?
sucked.
So you still restream.
Which thing?
Like you restreamed Tekken 7 tournaments back in the day,
But,
right?
you know,
restreamed
people
some of
still
Tekken
liked
And I
it.
did, of course.
and Tekken 8 tournaments as well. Tell me, is there like a big difference in how you view Tekken 7 and Tekken 8 when you're watching the game itself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, in this, back to the first topic, right? Are fighting games good products? That's my favorite question. I really think about that all the time, even outside of this podcast. I think about that all the time. I really feel like there is this component to fighting games that's lost if you focus on the net play. And I think that this component is not as simple as offline, online. It's something like hard to quantify. It's hard to write on a piece of paper what this sensation is. But fighting games, when you remove the personal aspect of it and make it just about the game itself, become a lot better. The product is a lot better when you remove the like going to, I don't know how to, like I said, just the same way I put it, I don't know how to write it down on a piece of paper, but something vital is lost if you remove in person and you go to net play. And when that vital thing is lost, whatever that may be, the magic, let's call it the spark, right? When you lose that spark, that's the point where they go from good product to bad. And because it's so hard to pinpoint what this thing is, I think all the companies have failed to figure it out. It's still not something that they've figured out, really, in my opinion. These companies, they just don't know how to harness the magic of a fighting game in a way in modern times. None of them are doing it right. They're not harnessing the magic. And it's weird to say that way, but I don't think they're good products, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but it has to do with in-person fighting games. It has to do with that component for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think it's in person, the 1v1 experience, or the like arcade culture experience where you have a bunch of people there watching that one match?
I don't know that it's necessarily the arcade, because if you look back just a few years after arcades were dead, but before like COVID, during that era, it felt like you still managed to have that. There was still this essence of in-person fighting game tournaments
Yeah,
with,
COVID
you
changed
know, like
a lot
the
of
presentation
things.
and the stream and everything. That was a very watchable product. But today, that product feels like it's gone. It's less watchable now. All the games are less watchable. You know, like when it comes to even restreaming a event, all the games are less fun to watch. And I don't think it's because of the game. I think it's because of this spark that was lost, and that spark only exists offline. And it's like something I think about often. Like I said, I ponder this often, and I wonder what is missing, but I don't know what it is. It's related to. It's not about arcades. That's what I know, because
Right.
it still had it after arcades died. You know.
So what I'm
I
asking
think
then, really quick. So Wednesday Night
go
Fights
ahead.
Esports Arena, that was
Mhm.
offline, no arcades, right?
Right.
But are you speaking about the offline experience with just one person versus one person, and you lose the spark there, or are you losing the spark of just that like community around stuff offline?
Event.
You know, where there's just one match happening, but there's 4 or 5 people back there, and you're all just participating in the same thing offline, and that's where the spark comes from. Does that make
I
sense?
think there's a lot of components to it. You know, like
Mm.
like an example earlier, Super Akuma was mentioning how like, oh man, I fucking hate playing online. I fucking hate it. But he does it all the time, right? And a lot of people do that. He's not the only one. A lot of
Me
people do
too.
that. That type of an environment is like under the surface, it will create something that is unhealthy.
Mm.
Under the surface, you won't see it, but it will create something. It will fester. And the environment where you go somewhere and you shake people's hands and play each other, that doesn't create that decay, that subdermal decay
Wow.
that you will get over time when you fucking hate what you're doing all the time. So
Mhm.
I believe that this invisible decay that has occurred over the years, with the argument of like rollback and all this shit, I think this is what we're starting to see now. This is what we're starting to feel, where there's like this inherent negativity from all angles, and it's because of resentment that has slowly grown from doing something that you find frustrating, but just doing it anyway. I think that there's a lot there. There's like people are unhappy
He's
more than they
literally talking
realize.
about myself as
It's
well.
done damage,
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think.
it's actually crazy right
it's
now because the like there's so many reasons for this, but even being on social media, and I've been guilty of this in the past as well. And one of the reasons why this podcast is even a thing is because I wanted to channel the negativity that I would feel about the game or the changes and turn it into something more constructive. In fact, that was something that I was told by people higher up actually to
Yeah,
do, which is funny how things panned out. But when
yeah.
it
He's
comes to
definitely
the game, Tekken is
speaking
very
about
unique
like people
in
like
that
me. That's true.
you can't be replicated. No other game does what Tekken does. So and a lot of Tekken players only really play Tekken 2. So
Mhm.
there isn't anywhere else for these guys to go. Anywhere you go, you're getting fucked up because and they end up playing online because you want to feel playing Tekken. So yeah, I often think to myself, damn, why do I play when I know I'm gonna get pissed off? I did that today. I played
Mhm.
today and I knew I was gonna be fucking pissed off and I got pissed off. I'm like, why do I do this? And I still go back and do it again. It's like someone that when they drink and they throw up and they're like, I'm never drinking again, but then they drink again. It's a weird one, because you want to feel maybe this session won't feel like shit. Maybe this one will actually be maybe I'll
That's
win.
unhealthy behavior.
It is.
That's total
Simulator
unhealthy
earlier.
behavior.
It is.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
is.
because
It
you're
is.
chasing that high from the past, and
But I'm
one thing
happy.
I was
You
thinking
know,
about
I
as well, and I
Tekken
spoke
is
to a lot of
not
people
the
about
only
this, but I
game I
don't think I brought it
play.
up on the podcast, is there used to
I do
be
play
team
2x
battle
Kyo
back
as
in the day
well.
on
I do
in
play
Tekken,
Fatal
right, where you could
Fury.
play multiple characters and
I
you
miss
could go
playing
versus
King of Fighters
1v1 with like
15.
8 characters or something, right? And I was thinking like there's no team aspect in fighting games or in Tekken at least. And I was thinking, man, maybe if there was more of a social element, because you're talking about that spark, right,
Chasing
Aris,
the
and,
high
and
from the
Rip trying to
past.
break it down and be like,
Mm.
is it just the community, the people watching, the fact that you feel like there is more than just yourself in the
Yeah.
game, or is it the in-person 1v1 aspect? There could be many things that gave that spark. But I know, and I've spoken to a lot of people that having like a 3v3 mode online where you can have a team battle in ranked or unranked where you play with people, your own friends, that that might make it a lot less shit to play the game, and even if the game is whatever state it's in. I know if I'm playing with Super Akuma and Joey and we do a 3v3 thing and we're playing against three
Hmm.
random guys and then I get fucked up, I'm like, ah, fuck, I lost. And then Joey, he carries and beats the shit out of that guy. Like, I don't know, maybe just the social aspect would make the thing feel a lot better. That's why a lot of people have been saying we need more team tournaments
I
in Tekken right
love
now because there's
2x
a lot.
Kyo for that
The
part.
tournament scene's been very stale as
It
well
does
when it
have
comes
that
to
duo
same shit
aspect
every single
that
time.
actually makes it fun.
Double elimination, first to two, blah 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 blah. So
I
that's
met
what
a
I
very
try to
good
do. Unique
friend
tournaments,
who
right?
was
Like
a Jinx
um
main as
like Red
myself.
Bull Golden Letters, put a little
So we
twist on it.
basically made
And
a
all of a sudden,
duo.
even a game like Tekken
I let
8
him play
that people were not
Jinx,
happy with, they really
and I played
enjoyed playing
Yasuo, and
that
we
game.
won a lot of
Shouts to Chop
games.
as well. He's in the chat. He did a tournament where it was a very unique kind of prize system. It was exactly the same game. You play versus someone, but it was just a different format, and it was very social, and people really enjoyed it, even if the game was Season 2 Tekken 8. So I'm wondering, is it just because the game hasn't innovated enough with new modes and a way of making the game more social?
I don't think it's that. I think that spark was just the community. Like back in Tekken 7, there was something happening on the other side of the world, and I felt connected to that. I was like, oh, we're all in the same boat. We're all doing the same thing, but we were all in a relatively positive mindset. Whatever was happening anywhere during the Tekken World Tour. Then they added dojos, so even at lower levels, people felt involved. Then they
Mm.
added like EU Cup and like players that were like, "Oh, I got no chance in the World Tour." Maybe I could try in my country to do something,
Mm.
right? And they managed to capture a little bit of the grassroots, and there was a lot of community leaders that like organized some stuff for people to join, and it was that social aspect. Like even today, like as people are like complaining about Tekken 8 all the time. You play
Mm.
them offline, they're having a laugh. You're playing alone in your room, you're gonna be sad, and the netcode's bad on top of it, right?
Yes.
But
That
it's
means,
it's
hey,
really
go back to topic number one right there.
yeah. A fighting game's a good product. I think the community, which isn't part of the product, but you get into it when you get into the game. That's what makes it. Like what got me into fighting games is like I used to be a quite shy person, not didn't have many friends, and then I found my people. They were the Tekken people. And then the more I played, the more I got involved, the more I was on social media, the more I got appearances, more I got opportunities to travel. I met more and more people, and then I got to start streaming and met even more people, and it feels like you're part of something. And it didn't really matter that I didn't particularly like the game, right? I
Mm.
was having fun. I was having fun traveling. I was having fun meeting people. I was having fun just being competitive in whatever I did, even though that
Mm.
was Tekken 7, right? But it really was that community. The problem is the feeling has soured a lot.
But some people
Like
didn't even
now
have that feeling
everyone's so
though.
negative.
No, but the vast majority of people are not going to have that feeling. A lot of people that play Tekken, if there's 11 million sales of Tekken 7, and how many of those people that bought that game are going to their local community, are playing that offline? Maybe some of them have never been offline in their lives. People watching right
That's
now
why
may have not gone offline, but they might not necessarily dislike the game though. That's the thing.
Well, the thing is, we're kind of in an echo chamber. When we say, "Oh, we don't like the game," maybe there's 10 million people out there loving the game, but I'm talking about the people that I've met on every continent. Like when it comes to going to locals, you get the people involved, and even though they don't really know what's going on, and most of the time, when you're lower leveled, you're getting beat up at the local because you got players that've been playing for like 15 years, right? And they're still having fun, even though not only are they playing a questionable game, they're getting the shit kicked out of them at that game. And now they don't know what's going on. But that social aspect, you really feel part of something. Like I would go to a local across the world and you'd feel connected. And I personally in my local scene, I was imparted that feeling of we're all in the same boat. Like in Tag 2, I had Koreans come to my local. It was like we're all what Tekken's like one big family. And I've always tried to share that feeling with newer players that join my community.
Mm.
Like now that I'm a bit of an elder where I am, I try to impart that feeling of we're all together, right? And I know clearly it's not the 11 million people feeling that, but a lot of the people we don't hear the 11 million people. We hear the people talking on social media, which are already a bit deep into it. They're not the casuals. You're not hearing from the random warriors. You're hearing from like
The
at
pro
least
players.
like green, like blue ranks, because they got invested enough to come find the people, which like we're deep rooted in there, right? Like I know I sold a lot of copies of Tekken 7. So many people came up to me and said, "Oh, I happened to catch the mix-up, and what you did was so cool." Ask anyone who played the game; they didn't think that, but they saw it and like, "Wow, that's so cool! I want to be in the game." And then they get involved. And you, since we didn't have such a negative feeling towards the game, being part of that community is what did it. Like we made it a good product. We sold the game.
True.
You guys' commentary made like animating tournaments to make them more fun to watch. Me being evil and just robbing people left and right every week on ICFC, that made people invested, right?
That's more of a reason to not
Right.
support it if you don't like it. That's what my whole point is. The whole reason why I stopped doing commentary was because I always did commentary for pennies. I've been like in the
Je
entire
paie.
time there are clips of me, and not just for Tekken, more on combat. I did top 8 at Evo for more.
Because
I
he
did that
dressed.
job for like $200 or something. Embarrassing. And millions of people heard my voice for $200. And I didn't mind at all because I liked the game. I'll do it again. And I did do it again next year and next year and next year until I don't like the game anymore. Then I'm a fucking idiot if I do that because I'm no longer doing it because I love it. I'm doing something that I don't love. And you can tell, you can smell it, you can feel it. I don't love it, and I'm doing it for a job. This is my point. This is my whole
Yeah,
example.
I completely agree. I often tell people that are always complaining and be like, just quit. What's holding you to this? And this then they tell me the same thing, and I went, personally, I don't hate the game like you, even though I got my problems, but I am getting paid. I am making decent money. That is why I'm still here. You're not getting paid. If you don't like it, go away. Nothing is forcing you to stay. But you
Yeah.
said at the beginning of this podcast, if you're getting paid, it's worth it, or it can be worth it. Say,
Yeah, I mean, look, that's
but the
your
people who don't,
business.
I completely agree. Like, if you don't like it, move the fuck on, please.
So,
I'm
so
telling
that
everyone.
that is a question that I think I have to ask Aris, because every single time there's a commentator's announcement for any major, or and it's crazy because you haven't commentated for such a long time, but everyone wants to hear your voice. They want to see, oh, where's Aris? Bring Aris. I want Aris, or ask Aris to do commentary. And it's because your voice has become iconic in the Tekken world. Even though you did it such a long time ago, people were used to hearing your commentary, and then they want to know, would you ever come back to commentary, and what would it take for the game to be in a certain way, or are you just done and you're happy where you are?
Well, I mean, the number one thing is that I have to like it. I'll
Mm.
commentate fat sumo wrestlers slapping each other's titties
I've been doing that
if
shit
I
too.
like it.
That shit's sick.
Spike did that.
And it's I my personal relationship with money has never been good. Anytime I've ever done anything for money, it's failed miserably. Disaster. Like absolute catastrophe. So I decided many years ago, over a decade ago, that I need to do things because my heart wants to do them.
Mm.
So if I don't like it, you'll smell it, you'll taste it in my food. So I have to like it when it comes to that. I'm super flattered that everyone enjoyed my commentary, but at the end of the day, the reason you enjoyed it is because I enjoyed it. That's what you liked about it. Trust me.
True, true,
That's what you
true.
liked about it. So it can't just be something that I'm not good at
That's
that.
why
I'm not good
I
at,
also, like, don't like play by play commentary most of the time. And the kind of culture that, like, commentary is now. Like, if the commentator isn't really making it enjoyable to watch, then it's just commentary. Whereas I would say that the color commentary, or what they call, in other words, personality commentary, is something that I aspire to do. I really watched people like Aris. I really watch, people like Yipes. I really love hearing from James Chen and Vicious when I'm watching them commentate Street Fighter 6. I really love this energy of, Ketchup and Mustard when they're commentating either Mortal Kombat or 2XKO. Those guys are really fun to watch because they're really fun to listen to, and that's what I like about it. But now you've got commentators sitting on their desk. Oh my God, we shouldn't be saying shit, or else we will be cancelled. Your brain actually takes in about the whole cancellation shit, and you end up just doing play by play, and you're just trying to be really, really over, like, professional. I'm not against the professional. What I'm saying is that you have to mix these two things pretty together. So the chat itself is actually enjoying the way you're visioning the game.
making guacamole and
Assalamu
telling you to
alaikum,
put a
Noman.
promo code and
Welcome to the
all that
stream.
stuff. I'm
Thank
not
you
good
so
at
much
that.
for
I'm
tuning
good
in.
at like having fun and
Tracker
many years
Bakan.
ago I remember hearing other people's commentary like Dr. Sub-Zero and all these really old school
Zabardast,
guys. And
Zabardast.
the key to it was they make
From
me feel
Zoro.
like
Zoro,
I
kaise ho?
wish I was
Zabardast.
there. And how can I make you feel like you wish you're here if I don't even want to be here? It
Yeah.
can't be done. So that's really the key. If I can't want to be there, then I can't do commentary. It's really not even about money, It's
Mm.
about what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, No, no, it's
Yeah.
true.
Uh,
I I think
and I said when I find something else I want to do, I'll do that. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I
I'm
hear
getting
that.
paid to do something that I do enjoy it. I do.
I mean, if you really wanna, if you really wanna, like, understand what I just said about the sermon I just gave you, please go listen to Hell Pockets. He's a commentator for City of the Wolves. He is commentators. He's a commentator for the King of Fighters 15. Just watch that guy commentate. He literally shakes the whole arena when he's commentating. He is literally yelling. Maybe you will, if you're a dick, you will literally start hating that guy. But that doesn't mean that that guy isn't doing his job. He's actually doing his job. The worst problem here is now that, a lot of these orgs, a lot of these TOs, are literally telling you that you might be cancelled if like, don't stick to the game or stick to the guns and shit like that. You don't get to tell a commentator how they want to commentate, right? You can definitely instruct them, okay, make sure to take, like, viable breaks and stuff. That makes a lot of sense, but you literally telling other people that I don't want to hire this guy because he actually talks about fighting games. He starts talking about even King of Fighters when he is on Tekken stream. This is the biggest bullshit that, someone is ever going to tell you. If I have a knowledge from a 2D game that I want to share in 3D game, I should be able to do that. You can't tell me that I can't do that. Just because you don't fucking get a 2D shit doesn't mean I cannot talk about it. You get what I'm saying? So this is why, a lot of these people, the people at the higher ups, I'm literally talking about Bandai Namco and others, you know, they're literally making a mockery out of, these guys and their
But
profession.
I enjoyed it more before.
Yeah, I can
I
see that.
haven't completely lost the spark, right?
Yeah,
I still do enjoy it.
Yes.
yeah.
But if
Denies
something
you
else
to
pops up that I
commentate.
can do,
Yes.
I might move on to that.
I think the reality
ये
of it is
आपकी
all
मोहब्बत
these people who
के
say fuck
जवाब
this, I hate this, they do enjoy
दे,
it too. I
देते
mean,
हो.
at the
Thanks.
end of the
शुक्रिया
day,
शुक्रिया
people
जजाकल्ला.
do
I
naturally
hope
do
you're
what they
having
want to
good,
do with their leisure time. So if you're
having a
choosing
good
to
day.
play online
Oh, it's
Tekken
night.
8, obviously you
Okay, what did
enjoy
he
it.
say?
All these people who say fuck this, I hate this, they do enjoy it too. I mean, at the end
Mm.
of the day, people do naturally do what they want to do with their leisure
Yes.
time. So if you're choosing to play online Tekken 8, obviously you enjoy it too in some way. Like the
Mm,
pros outweigh the cons, right? But over time, you won't notice this, but it's doing damage.
true.
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah.
you won't
It
even see it.
eats you
It's so
inside. Yeah,
subtle. It's like getting fat over time. It's so subtle, but then you'll see someone who hasn't seen you in a few months and they're like, "What the fuck?" You know? So like it's like that. You know, it's similar. It's so slow, but your fun will deteriorate. And that's why really I think out over all these years that's why the value of fighting games as a product has gone down because it was so slow. No one noticed it. All this talk
yeah.
about rollback or like battle pass or nerf patch, buff patch, whining and seasons. No one really realized that we were slowly losing what fighting games are really about. And
Mm,
now that it's gone, we're like, what was that? That you didn't even notice that that piece of furniture was there, but now that it's gone, the whole feng shui is off, and
mm,
everyone's wondering why. Why are fighting games shitty now? I don't know what happened. It's like mysterious, but it was just slow. It was slow because of the Super Akuma effect. I fucking hate it, but not that much. I'm gonna load up. Maybe it won't be that bad this time. I'm gonna load up online. That slowly fucked everything up over the years. I
No,
think.
Nice going, Super
I mean,
Akuma.
I have one extra thing that I say. I really enjoy streaming, but in order to get the viewers, for there to be a conversation to be had,
mm.
I unfortunately need to turn this off because I haven't built my audience for anything else. So if I want to talk to people in stream, which I do really enjoy, my best bet is to do the thing I don't like to try and do the thing I like at the same time. Because I don't go into ranked if I'm not streaming. I don't just load up the game during my free time.
Mm.
I like streaming, and unfortunately, to do
That's
the bit that I
terrible,
enjoy,
dude.
Terrible. You know,
yeah,
earlier you
yeah,
said,
no,
Come
it is.
on, Eris, you do the same shit. I have seen him do the same shit. Like, he is definitely going to always, pull out a game that is literally, like, is gonna have a lot of, like jump scares and shit. And he gets to play that, and his audiences actually enjoy that. So sometimes, but the fact is that where I'm gonna appreciate Eris is that he dares to play those games, and I really appreciate that.
But that's why
That
I
gets
do
the
it.
worst
So
out of him.
earlier,
some people just load up the game because maybe it won't be so bad. I don't play ranked outside of my streams. I like streaming. I just
Yeah.
have to play Tekken, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not my effect.
earlier you said that everyone is so mad about this patch, but
Yeah.
the feeling I've gotten was that people aren't even that mad anymore. They're just sad and disappointed. And hearing you describe that just made me sad.
Walaikum assalam,
Because you're
Rao.
like
It is sad.
forcing yourself
Tariq, how are
so
you
hard to
doing?
do this other
Welcome
thing
to
you
the
like.
stream.
And the only way to do the other thing you like is by doing this thing.
If I could
Um,
stream mukbangs, I'd do that, man.
Yeah, you should try it.
The thing is that I did, and I was successful. I'll be real and open. This isn't a Tekken subject anymore, but like I'm scared to take the risk. The easy option is there. Just turn on the game that annoys me, and it makes it easy. But I have gone out of my comfort zone. Like I remember once I was gonna
Yet
stream with
I just
Spag and
played.
Fergus.
Yeah.
one time,
My
and I
thumbs
just
are dead
ate
hurting. Yeah,
with my
that's what
girlfriend on
happens.
stream, waiting for them for an hour and a
Okay, let me just tell you like my motivation to play Tekken. I'm just gonna be very dead straight honest. I like playing this game because I just like clip farming. I like doing the shit that I want to do on stream. I want to do all those flashy combos so I can capture them and actually make a content out of them. I'm not gonna lie. That's why my whole motivation isn't just about winning. So the problem is nobody likes losing, particularly if they are pro players. I'm not even a pro player, so I can lose. But even then, the game sometimes make it so overwhelming that it pisses me off. But then again, it's my choice whether to, take it or leave it. But how I approach the game is to just play the game, record it live, and do something that I usually wouldn't do. That's my whole take on Tekken.
half because they're
And
always
that's the
new.
only reason why I play.
And I got more views than when I was playing the other game. So I should be doing more of that. You
Yeah.
say try it.
more.
I'm scared,
Do more.
but I should.
I think you should overcome your fear, man, because Tekken
Yeah.
8 is a lot more scary right now. But I wanna go into a little bit more detail, right? Because we've spoken a lot about like just in general, like the kind of the way that the developers have been moving and like this kind of stuff and about culture, but specifically about season
Fit
3.
and
So
fine.
what
Very nice.
made
Good to hear
people
from you,
upset?
man.
You know, because it was a
I
lot
hope
of anger. Look,
you
I got shit on, bro. They were calling me a shill. They were saying
have a great
Spags a
Friday
shill, even though I
tonight.
spent all of the first fucking year of this game doing podcasts, bringing people on to criticize the game. You're calling me a shill. People are going crazy, bro. What's going on? Anyway, that was fucking crazy. I was getting attacked by everyone. But anyway,
Wait,
it was
so
a lot.
Spag, is season 3 better than season 2?
Is season? I think a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Might be a shill, bro.
Yeah. I think
That's what I was thinking, man.
I think that's good one. I think season 3 is a little bit better than season 2 because like Super Kuma said in the beginning of the podcast, there was a few changes that were good, but then there was a lot of changes that weren't.
The thing is, like, season 2 patch actually, like Super Kuba said, like, had 1,500 changes. So 1,500 changes is, if we compare to season 3, is nothing, right? But those were terrible changes. It included the new moves and everything, new properties and everything. But the problem, then again, what Joey said, that they made Claudio's back 3-3. It was 12 frame punished. punishable, but then it became 10 frame punishable, and then in season 3 it became 12 frame punishable again. But that's something that like ticks me off.
Good. So actually, I don't know. It might be exactly the same. To me, it's not enough for it to be better. I just think there were some changes to the top tier characters that were good, and I want to break those down. I want to kind of go a little bit more in depth, right? So there were changes to a couple of characters. I would say Anna and Asuka. Those characters were definitely, in my opinion, top 3 characters, and they got some pretty hefty nerfs, especially Asuka. She's like a very different character now, I feel like, on the tier list, right? But then a lot of other characters got buffed, including your character, Rip, which a lot of people
Yeah.
also thought was a top 5 character. He got buffed too for some reason.
Yeah.
And you know it's bad when the people who main a character get pissed off when their character gets buffed. And that's only something that we've been getting recently, man. I
Yeah.
never used to see that. When people get their
Yeah,
characters buffed, they
Momo
would be like,
Dog
"Jump."
actually, Momo Dog, who is actually a great Devil Jin player, does all the high execution the stuff. He's been playing the game and grinding the rank and everything. Beating players like Joka a lot of the time, and that dude actually complained about Devil Jin's Hell Sweep being buffed, right? So imagine you're literally, and I myself said that the down 3+4, the low homing was not needed for whoring. I I'm happy with that move, but I don't think it was needed. It actually, saved him in the meta of the game. I think that was probably their reason to, give him. But that wasn't needed, but they gave him, right?
Off and be like, yeah, this is sick. Now they're actually getting upset. So I want to break it down. Joey, I'll start with you
Momo
here,
Dog
because
said
obviously
that
you've
they
been playing the game
literally
a lot.
buffed the
What's
best
your
low
analysis
in the
on
game
season 3 and why people
about his
are
own character.
upset? Not angry, but just like, now just upset.
Um, well, a few things that maybe that ties in a little bit to like why do people have such negative feelings about the game and keep playing it, keep playing it, keep playing. I think like when I look at Tekken 8, I can still see like the Tekken beneath like the garbage heap, like I still see it like down there. Um, and I think people felt that way about season 1, where they're like, yeah, this is fucked up, but like I still see the Tekken there. And then season 2 dropped, and it was just like like the whole unloading, like just garbage truck, like everything got buffed, like everything like became safer and like more heat options, like just like overload, right? And now season 3 I see as it's like a slightly toned down season 2, but it's still like the options and the overall like power level of the characters still vastly exceeds what it was in season 1, and season 1 was already very crazy. um I think like Super Akuma mentioned, I can't remember if this was on stream or off stream, he was saying like the system changes they made in season 3, like nerfing the installs and removing the wall splitting heat smashes, those are like really great changes. um but I think what's so frustrating for people about season 3 is they did make some characters even stronger, which is like insane.
Mm.
But there was a certain expectation that like some of the really insane options added in season 2 would be like toned down or removed or fixed. But like I'm playing this game, man, and like I'm like June is shooting like a laser beam that like goes at the speed of light across, like it's a hitbox that just appears on the whole screen and hits you from like range 6,
Yeah.
and it can wall splat you, and like this it's like it was designed by like a little kid. It's just like, we're playing martial arts, but now I use like my laser blast, and like it's insane that it's in the game and they didn't take it out, they didn't do anything about it. It's like Dragon Ball Z shit,
It
dude.
doesn't seem like it was a very
And that's just like one
thought
move.
out
There's a lot of other moves
decision.
like that where sometimes I'm playing, I'm like, I cannot believe I'm fighting this. Like I can't believe this is in the game. I can't believe it's been in the game for a year or more. And it's like like I said, I see the Tekken. There's like these bursts of like, yeah, like this is fun. This Tekken, I'm playing neutral, and then suddenly like the laser blast comes out,
Mhm.
or something like that, and it's just very frustrating. And I think what's very concerning is, yeah, being in this.
Like the thing that most of these guys should be talking about is the reactionary animations, like particularly on hit animation. Let's say you get hit on counter and then you end up getting hit and then you go on the ground. So getting on the ground, we're totally fine. We're on the ground. Now we just all we need to do is just get up. But the problem here now is that getting grounded on the ground, but my face is facing downward. And then I have to either just get up on the up or just press down one so I can roll and up. But there's a whole risk involved in getting up in both of these situations. So what happens is that you literally, like, your opponent actually keeps hitting the moves that actually hit you on the ground while your face is on the ground. So this is such a huge problem. So now what they tried and fixed in this season 3 was that they give a new animation that down to you actually still face your face is still facing the ground, but you actually go away from the opponent. But it's not going to change anything if that move hits you near the wall, because even in situation like that you're still going to have the opponent pretty much near to you, right?
This negative cycle
It should be
where like you're
removed.
chasing some of that satisfaction from like the fundamental baseline Tekken that you enjoy, and then you're raging about this crazy stuff that's in there, and um, you know it's like sort of a twisted thing. Like you can derive enjoyment from complaining and negativity, and I even see it with like the streams. Like if somebody's streaming like an offline session and they're sitting there and they're like having fun together, sometimes, like, I'll admit this about myself. I'm like, oh, they're like having a good time. Like, fuck this, and I like go find someone who's like playing
Playing a
online ranked. I go find someone who's like playing online ranked, and like you get this faceless, Lars player who's playing like a nutcase, and you just want to see him like get fucked up, and you want to see the guy be like, yeah, fuck this guy. Like I just beat him at this slop game. It's really bad. It's like this is part of like the online negativity era. Like, and then like you're texting your friend and it's like, yeah, this game fucking sucks. Like, yeah, it does fucking suck,
Yeah.
and like it's just really bad. Um, like negative enjoyment. It's just kind of like twisted and demented. So I just worry about all this stuff, and I worry about myself, and I worry about my fellow Tekken players.
What has Tekken done to us, dude?
It's just yeah,
For
yeah,
real.
really,
No,
truly.
you know, yeah, man. Let me tell you this. This like I don't know if this is a segue into the third topic you have written here, but this what happened to Tekken 8? The exact thing happened to Soul Calibur, and it happened in 2004. The exact thing, and you know
The
what? It
Bandai
could have
Namco.
been by the exact same culprits. I don't know if that's true, but literally, this exact things that you guys are saying, I can't believe I'm fighting this. This is like a laser beam that appears. I was saying this stuff when I was 19, 20, 21. Like, dude, what happened to just swords? What happened to just nunchucks? We were fighting like martial arts. Now there's flames and explosions, and they've added all these. Like, I swear, I experienced this exact moment, except all those years ago. And I believe that it allowed me to let go of Tekken so much easier because
Mm.
I already experienced this turbulence with Soul Calibur. I loved Soul
Makes
Calibur
sense.
so much. You have no idea. It was the most important thing in the whole world to me when I was 18. I traveled all over the place. I really wanted to just dedicate
It was a
everything to it.
beautiful game.
And when Soul Calibur 3 came out, and who's to say this is another thing, right? Well, I'll come back to this moment in my point later. But when it came out, I was heartbroken. For the same reasons that you guys are complaining, I was heartbroken. It changed the game, right? But now, all these years later, what has occurred is that some people think that the way it changed after Soul Calibur 2 is better. And some people say Soul Calibur 4 is the best one ever, or 5 is the best one ever, or 3 is the best one ever. Because what occurred is people who liked the old version became extinct and new people came that liked the new version. So
Yeah.
when it comes to the future of Tekken, that is one potential future of Tekken.
True.
Maybe over the years, people will say, man, that's old Tekken 7 style. They changed it after that and we love it much more now. And you never know. At the time, I was appalled that they added magical moves to a game that had no flames, no fireballs. It was just appalling to me. But give it 5 years, give it 10 years. People will literally say, well, Tekken's been this way forever. It's always been an anime goofy game. Look, and we love it that way. That's the way we want it. You know? So
Yes.
you never know how the future will pan out.
People
for a
will tell you
franchise,
that
but
Tekken
all
8
I
was
know
the
is this
greatest game
exact thing occurred, and it happened to
from
be
5
a
years
Namco
onward.
game, and it potentially could have been literally by the same hand. You know, the same person that screwed up what I think they screwed up Soul Calibur. It could have been the same guy with Tekken 8. I don't know. It smells similar. All the colors, all the like unnecessary visual noise, all these like forced
Graphical
50-50
vomit.
situations. These types of and also the stance heavy like transitioning into a really powerful option off of the stance. That is all stuff they added in Soul Calibur after 2. In Soul Calibur 3, 4, 5, all those games had stuff just like that. Characters that didn't have those things got those things. So, I mean, it just is too familiar for me. And I early on was like, I'm going to step back. You guys enjoy that shit. I've already eaten it and I didn't like it.
And after that, you didn't have anything to do with the game again, like after you.
No. I've always come back to Soul Calibur. I've come back every new Soul Calibur. I try it and I give it a fair shake because at the end of the day, I like Soul Calibur. I did, but every time it sucks, it sucks. You know, whatever. And I'm not a. You know, maybe people see like, oh, what does Aries think? But that's not how I think. You know, if I like something, I like it, and if I don't like something, I don't like it. I don't really care if it's like something that's negative on the game, or maybe you're making the game look bad, turning people away. I'm not going to sacrifice what little hair is left on my head for some other person or some other company. Or it's about me. You know, if I like it, I'm in. If I don't like it, I'm out. You know, it's just about my own well-being. I want to have a good day. You know, I want to have a good day every day. That's my goal. So,
No, fair enough,
I'm
man.
out.
Fair enough. And I think you make a good point as well that maybe in 5-10 years, you look back and Tekken 9 or whatever's out, and we'll look back at Tekken 8 and like, man, back Tekken 8 was a lot better.
We're
man,
still
than it is
talking
now.
about
Look,
Tekken
it was
8,
only-
Tekken 7 in the
Yeah,
same way.
with the
Like,
50-50
people
is
still
doing
say
for
that,
you or
we've
whatever
been really
I think that this
unthankful
is something
towards
that
Tekken
was
7.
starting in Tekken 7, and it goes back to your point about kind of the live service and stuff and the way they kind of patched the game. I think that season 1 Tekken 7 was good, and I remember interviewing the developers as well and talking about how Tekken 8 was very different in the sense that they didn't have the arcades to use as a reference or the people to balance the game early on when it got released.
Yeah,
So this is the first time
there's
they've
no
actually
more
had to
arcade
make a
release
Tekken
anymore.
without the arcades, without having that kind of
The game is
initial
just
test.
Directly,
In Korea, Japan, and
being
Asia.
released on PS.
And that was a bit of a challenge, right? So
Or
they brought out
console.
the CNT and they kind of tried to
General.
get whatever they could from that. But Tekken 7, season 2 patch, season 3 Tekken 7 is where a lot of people believe that there was a massive change. And something Nee said in his video, someone mentioned Nee's video, he said that if you look at a game or a fighting game, it's like a dish, like some sort of some food. And it's got a certain ingredients that you have in that food. Now, once you add loads of different ingredients, it stops being that food anymore. And that's how he explained what Tekken 8 Season 3 is. He said that there's way too many random ingredients here that it's no longer the dish that it once was. And because the dish has already been cooked, you can't now take those ingredients out. So the game, in his words, I'm just quoting what he said, The game can't be fixed now because it has become a completely different dish now. The ingredients cannot be taken out at this point.
The game is
Um,
cooked.
and the center ground is shifting.
Walaikum
So
assalam, Asad.
maybe
How are you
one
doing?
patch in Tekken 7, I remember they had Miguel and his Sav Downfall 2 launcher had like crazy pushback. And for me, that was like, whoa, what the fuck? Now, if there was something like that, I wouldn't even bat an eye because the center ground is shifted. And if they keep on shifting the center ground, then maybe in 5-10 years, whatever we have now will be like totally normal, you know,
How's your day
or
been?
like, you know, conservative. So that's the thing. Like, Rip, I want to ask you about this. Like, what do you think then about um how the game should be patched, if at all?
Okay,
What do you
throw
think
the
about
joke.
what Nee said as well, about, you know, him seeing this as like a dish that can't be changed now?
Dish
you
that is
know,
cooked.
two things. First, to Eris's point,
Yeah.
trying all Soul Calibers and everything as well, but Tekken has always lost players, older players, as new iterations have come out. Right, you go from Tekken Tag 1 to Tekken 4, walls, slow floors, get that shit out of here.
458.40
Right,
rupees.
Tekken 5 better, but crazy balance stuff. DR people are like, okay, cool,
What's
whatever.
that?
6 comes out like Rage. What the fuck is this? I'm out of here.
But
I'm
that's
not playing
all
this game.
games, all fighting.
No, right,
games.
right. I'm saying, and so
Yeah.
Tekken has done this historically the whole way through, right? And so you've
Yeah.
lost some of the oldest players along
Petrol
the way.
price?
This is not my Tekken anymore.
Oh
And then you
my
go to the
god.
next one. There's new crazy shit. Tekken 8 is
Shit.
by far the
We're
biggest
cooked.
jump, I feel
Yeah.
like, from all the past Tekkens. So I feel like they're, on the precipice of losing more of their base than before, and
Unbelievable.
they're gonna have to overcome that by bringing in way more new people, which at this moment I'm not sure how that's working out. But to Nee's point, how to patch this game going forward, I've been looking at patch notes from Tekken for like over a decade now. And when season 2 dropped, it seemed to me like they are not going to revert this. But if there was ever a patch to revert, it's this one, because you can't really come back from this. Like, this is an entire direction for the game. And so to
Bicycle a
undo
week
all
ago?
of this, incrementally
Oh.
going forward is going to be very, very difficult. And now you fast forward to season 3, and it's really more of the same. Like, yes, we have some good system changes, but overall, the design of how
Fair
all
enough.
the characters function is kind of baked in at this point. Like undoing that, I don't see that happening in Tekken 8 going forward, right? So you're kind of at this point where you just have to accept it for what it is, and this is Tekken 8 going forward.
Even
Yeah.
considering the idea that they would undo stuff like that is totally out of, it's like asinine. There is no way they would ever remove these decisions. In fact, the fact that they've doubled down season 2 and 3 should tell the user, like, dude, stop even thinking. Well, like earlier, remember when Super Okuma said, it's just bad, dude. It fucking sucks. It's bad. These are bad changes. But that's because you think they're bad, right? But think of it from the perspective of the guy who thinks it's good, the guy who's making it and has a smile on their face. That's obviously what they're doing over there. I mean, if they're going to double down on a concept and a vision, that means they're proud of it. They're putting it out. This is what we want. We're not going to change it.
I don't want to remind you what I had to pull to make you realize.
What do you mean?
What did I compare that to? When you
God.
said,
Oh, no, no,
he's
no.
so
Oh,
he's so
racism.
he's so happy, he's smiling when he's at home thinking about this. Thinking of his
but
master game.
Racism.
Not a good analogy because this is a work of art and you see it as a song. Like when an ear hears a song, one ear is going to be moved by it and another ear is just going to hear it and it's going to bounce off of their head. It's not going to matter. So
True.
the musician here is making the song that they want to make. They made season 2 of the song that they want to make, or you can call it a dish, right? The way Nee put it. The chef made a dish, and this is the dish he wants to make. How many times are you going to go back to that restaurant before you realize they don't serve food that I like? You're not going to say, this
Fair
chef
enough.
is fucking bad at cooking. I'm going to go back again, season 2. See how much better he got. He still fucking sucks.
No, but
I'm
they
gonna go
changed
back
the menu,
again
bro.
for
They
dinner.
changed the menu. It was good. I
Why
liked
would you
it.
go
Supper,
back
bro.
there?
I gotta try out the new
Why
menu.
would you go back there?
I guess it's like
At
being.
a certain point,
Yes,
it's
that's
no longer a bad chef. At a certain point,
yeah.
the chef is not bad anymore. That's what I'm saying. Namco is not making a bad product. They're making the product that they want to make. They're obviously proud of it. At a certain point, we're retarded. That's what I'm saying. At a certain point, it's our fault for we keep going back to a place that sells tacos, and we want Tekken. We don't want tacos. We
Tacos.
want Tekken. We don't sell Tekken. We sell tacos. I'll be back tomorrow. You better sell Tekken. You know, that's what you're doing.
Yeah. No,
You-
like I said, we're
Still
done doing
tacos,
that.
huh?
We're done asking for Tekken. We're done.
No Tekken again, huh? You only sell tacos, huh? I'm gonna be back for dinner. You better change that shit by then. See you later.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm
that's
saying.
what you're
We
doing.
shouldn't expect that anymore. But the first time the Tekken salesman sells you the taco, I think it's fair to say, wait, didn't you used to do Tekken? And the guy goes, yeah, this is Tekken. He goes, this is tacos. Well, when I come back, can you make it Tekken? And then you come back, and then it's still tacos. Then you can stop coming. But you should at least that's what happened with season 2. The
Oh
first time it
my
happened,
god.
wait, what the hell was that? We were this was some this was some tacos with some Tekken in it. Now there's
Yeah.
no more Tekken left. It's just tacos now.
Yeah, I know
It's
what
just
you
like
mean.
that now season 3 is like, oh wait, they're a taco stand. I'm dumb. Like you said,
Look,
now it's the point where, oh, actually we're dumb.
Let me go back to my previous point of them being posers when it comes to seasons. I think this whole season patching shit is
Better than
all
Tekken.
phony fake shit. And I think that they're not good at it. The only reason they do it is because they're pretending like they are a live service. But in reality, they're not a live service. And they're not. That's why you get the sensation of them being stretched in multiple directions. Because they're listening to some feedback. But at the same time, they are not a live service. They're gonna make the product that they want to make,
Yeah,
and
that-
you can really tell that's
Yeah,
the case.
I said that a bunch of times recently. It feels like the positive changes, at least the changes that were positive to us, that we liked, it feels like they made them against their will. They compromised their vision.
Hmm.
We don't like their vision, right? But they compromised their vision. So the things that we like,
Mm.
it feels like they didn't want to do them. And that's why it feels like they're being stretched in different directions. They should have either just not given us any good or just done it all good. Like it feels weird that it really feels like it was against their will. They changed some things because we cried so much and not because they wanted to change them. And that's why the rest of the patch is just more of what they want to do.
Okay, but the,
And
the
I
issue
agree with
might
you.
be-
the issue
I'll-
is sorry, go on, Rip.
Mhm.
Go on.
No, I was gonna say it might be different people. Like, we talk about
Yeah,
pulling in
yeah,
different
yeah.
directions. Main man talks about one guy's throwing water on the fire, the other guy's throwing gasoline on the fire. It really
Yeah.
feels like there are multiple people making decisions.
Yeah.
It's not a cohesive thing like Joey mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I was gonna say, the phrase "back to basics." It really scared me because I believed that after season 2, as you said, Rip, as well, like it's very difficult unless you revert the patch, like to kind of go back to what the majority of the community would feel is basics, right? And once the patch came out, once season 3 dropped, the first question that popped into my head was, what are the basics, according to the people who are in charge? Like, what do they believe the basics are? Like it kind of confused me because I just knew that
They will
that
never
a lot
tell
of
you
people were
what
gonna get
they
very upset.
think
So
about
it's going back to the
the
analogy, right?
basics.
You got tacos and Tekken, right? They're only selling tacos. We're dumb to say to go back every single time. Or like, I don't know, I'm allergic to peanuts. I'll go to a fucking peanut shop and complain. Like, that's stupid, right? Why would I do that? Be upset at people for selling peanuts, man. It's a peanut shop. But if they then say, all right, we're not selling peanuts no more, this is going to be a Tekken only shop. So come back and, you can enjoy some good Tekken. I walk in, fucking peanuts everywhere. And then I'm dead. And it's like, it's
Yeah, the
that
taco stand says Tekken on it, man. Aris, it says Tekken on the shop. They didn't
Doesn't
change
say
the
Tekken
sign.
on
They
it,
only
dude.
changed
It
the
says-
food.
It says Tekken 8 on it, dude. It doesn't say Tekken on
I
it. And
liked
you're
Tekken 8.
not. Listen, Super Akuma, you're not a retard, dude. You should not have to be spoon-fed this shit. You know what
I'm
you're
not
gonna
Mark
get.
then.
You know what you're gonna get when you go back to Tekken 8's taco stand. You ate there 3 times already. You know. Don't
I
say.
liked it the first time.
Okay, but don't tell me, hey, it says Tekken on it. It's like
Yeah, but then I
You're-
saw the menu, and that was my bad. I should have walked out.
Yeah, now you know.
Yeah, now I
That's the
know. Now
thing.
I know. Now I
And
know.
like I said earlier about Soul Calibur, I will try every Soul Calibur that comes out forever
Yeah,
because I do like Soul Calibur as a concept. Same with Tekken. Every
yeah.
Tekken they ever make, I'm gonna try it without question. But it doesn't mean that I'm gonna expect it to taste like mom's old Tekken.
I'm just
You
saying
know?
I haven't I only now have been disappointed too many times to
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
Like
It's
for
fresh.
me, for
I
like
understand.
I still like you've been out of the game for since like you said stopped enjoying it after Tekken 6. I
Mhm.
even enjoyed Tekken 8.
Hmm.
So it hasn't been
Well, there
that
you
long
go.
for
Yeah,
me.
Bro,
I
fool.
know.
For yeah, for me it hasn't been that long,
Wow.
which is why I'm still walking past the restaurant hoping
And
to
I
see
can
a
tell you, you
change.
know, I can, like I said, I can relate
Yeah.
to the heartbreak. It is beyond like, you know, everyone's behavior, this negative behavior, it's a result of caring. It's a result of
Yeah.
passion. You know, I mean, everyone's heartbroken. This is how much you cared about this thing, and now it sucks for one reason or another, right? It's just that when it's a new feeling and it's emotional and you add the internet and you take away self-control, it's really like a toxic situation. And
Yeah.
I was there, you know, I was like that in the past, but I now know that you won't win that fight and your
Hmm.
own sanity is more valuable. So
True.
it's better to just let it go. It is. But for people like you who are just experiencing this for the first time ever, it's going to be a lot easier said than done. You know, it's going to be hard to let go of something that's making you feel bad because you don't like it. It's just, you'll learn. You know, it's just the
Yeah,
way it is.
yeah.
I was there.
I'm just waiting for the time when the new thing I want pops up.
Yeah, I hope it
Yeah.
happens, dude. I really do. Something could, you know, lots of things could happen. You know, this
Mm.
isn't the end of the world, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Um,
of course.
Joey, what do you think then for Tekken 8 now? Because we have Season 3. They said there's going to be more patches coming in the future. And I'm not saying that we're going to go back to basics in those following patches, but they said going to be more patches coming. But they've already buffed a lot of characters in this season. There were actually more buffs than nerfs. And someone even said that if you actually look at the words in the patch notes,
Hmm.
they said the word easier. The word easier was used 50 times because they wanted to make shit easier, right? You know, Lord's DSS, for example, you know, I used to
Yeah.
find that shit so hype. I watched Go Sane and Rip do while standing 4 DSS, 3+4 on counter hit and be like, yo,
Wow.
that is sick. Now you just hold forward, bro. And it's like, you know, stuff like that. I'm not really intrigued by it. It's not really like fun for me to watch in some regards, but the game, you know, is obviously they're still trying to make it easier. But yeah, what do you think about season 3 and your personal opinion on it?
So a few things. One, like there sometimes like this weird conflation that happens between like accessibility and like making the game easier. So I think like those changes that you were mentioning where like okay, you can get up off the ground by holding back and you're not going to like die for it. Like that I think that makes the game like more accessible for a newcomer. Like okay, I can get up. I don't have to worry about it. And like doing things like you know, in Tekken 8 the combo extension mechanic is the tornado. Now that lasts like way longer than the tailspin ever did, right? If like you go back and play Tekken 7, you're probably gonna drop all your combos because you're gonna like stroll up after your tornado and be like, oh, I got all the time in the world, but you don't.
Mm.
So combos are actually like a lot more lenient and easy in Tekken 8 because they made the tornado last longer, and that like it makes the game easier, right? Because the combos aren't so execution heavy, not so demanding.
Hmm.
But these types of changes when they creep into like hey, we gave you this move and it does like everything you could ever want it to do. That's like a different thing to me. That's not like making the game more accessible. You're kind of just like
Spag
corrupting
Pakistani hai.
the balance. You're corrupting the battle system because you're just giving options that do everything. Like oh, this move's like really long range and fast
Yes.
and plus on block. Or this move, like, you know,
I
heat
have been
smash,
thinking
shatters
about
armor,
this
long
since
range,
the
gets you another mix up
last
if it gets blocked, does a
night
bunch of chip damage. Like,
in particular
these excessively
about
overpowered
the
moves, I
inflation and
think they're
stuff.
very different um, just category of change than like
Yeah, you never know if
you know?
GTA is going to be
And I
delayed.
see them kind of get talked about like they're the same thing. Um, perhaps even like by the developers, like the way they talk about the game in the patch notes.
Mhm.
They sort of like talk about these things like they're the same thing.
Yeah.
There's like this weird phrase in the patch notes like streamline offense. This allows them to streamline their offense.
Hate that.
I just thought that was like a weird phrase. Like, why would you want it to be really easy to streamline offense? That's like an anti-creative term to me. It's like we want like offense to be less creative, you know, just A to B to C. Um, anyway, so those things are concerning because I think like accessibility and making the game easier should be different things. And then one other thing I was thinking about, like at the
Okay,
same
so
time,
cheers,
like
man.
so many things have to come together
good
to
night.
make a game like really great.
Yeah,
and
I think I
enjoyable for
might just
everyone.
also
And
not play the rank and
it's like unfortunate in some ways
just
that I
wrap it
feel
up.
like the
after this.
the
Although I
balance
really
and the
want to
battle
play
system
2x
has
scale.
these
Wait, what is the
problems
date
that
today?
make the game frustrating for a lot of people
Third.
because there are like these other aspects of the game that I really want to praise. Like there's a lot about Tekken 8 that like looks super cool in the stages, and I love a lot of the music in this game. And if people talk about there being too much visual noise, but there are some like effects that really get me hype. Like it's like somebody tries to power crush you and you just like shatter through it with your heat smash. Just this like car crash sound. It often like gives me this feeling. It's like, you dumb motherfucker, like try to power crush that. Like it makes me like super hype.
Yeah.
There are things about the game that they do give me like that satisfaction. Like this is exciting. The game looks cool. The music sounds cool. So it's unfortunate for me that like they don't have the battle system and the balance like dialed in because I want to be able to appreciate all of this effort and artistry that went into these other aspects of the game, and it makes me sad when the game just gets shit
True,
on and
true.
like none of
as
those
an
things can
artist,
get any
I really
recognition.
love the
Yeah.
way the game
Yeah, yeah.
So I
looks
don't
and
know.
everything.
There's a few thoughts for you.
It's
No, for
just
sure.
that
I
the
think that, you know,
balancing part
you
that
were there,
ticks
right,
me
Joey,
off.
for the first Tekken 8 play test that we no, not even play test, but like, you know, they had the full game, the Red Bull pin drop in London, right? Invited you down to that, and we got to play the game. We both experienced at the same time just how crazy good the practice mode was actually in terms of all the
Yeah.
new options that you have, the replay system. We
Yeah,
the
we
replay
that
feature's
that's
amazing.
something
me
that I
and Bubsy
really
were
want to
able to
appreciate the
showcase
Dynamco
a
for
week
this.
before the game drop, all
Tekken
these
8
things. You know, I know
historically
maybe it's
has
not
the
best
best
customization
practice
but
mode
there's a lot
ever.
more options now. So there are a lot of things in the game. Even like, you know, if
On top of having the replayability and just replays, just go back and fix your game.
people might not be a big fan of it, but the Tekken Lounge where you can go run around and stuff, I mean, it's definitely something that we haven't had before, right? So it's something new, and they've definitely put a lot of work into it. But yeah, like you said, it all gets overshadowed from the balance aspect and the kind of gameplay aspect. And for me, if I'm gonna break it down, I'm watching people play characters like Lydia and Victor now. I think is a massive criminal in this now. It's like everything leads to a stance. The 10 frame punish leads to a stance. The running 2 leads to a stance. Imagine Dragunov had running 2 and now he can go into a stance and 50-50 you. Which is exactly what it is for Victor, right?
And I
it's a
called
lot
it
easier
out
to do running
that
moves
this
now,
is
so
why
and you can hold
Dragunov
the
is going
input
to
just
be the
keep on
best
running to
character in
track
Tekken
people.
8
So
before
it's harder to sidestep.
the game was
And now
even
you've got this
released.
cross on block chip move that puts
Okay,
Victor
take
into
care.
a
Allah
situation
Hafiz,
where
Asad.
he can mix you up with stances. And then you got stance transitions. We see what Anna was doing. Evo Grand Finals, bro. People were
दज्जाल को हरा कर ही
sleeping
दम लेंगे.
in the crowd. I was there and people were actually fast asleep. You know, and these are Tekken fans and they're watching Anna Grand Finals. You know, it's because the stance transition and that type of gameplay it's kind of boring to watch. I just say it as it is. It kind of is just boring to watch. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do this move, and now here are my 3 options.
You know what I really didn't like about this whole unbalanced game is seeing non-skilled players pick up Anna and do well with her. That was the most absurd thing that I had to go through
Now
in
you got to
season
guess.
2.
Oh, I did this one, and now I can go into stance from that move as well, and then I can transition into this stance. And it's like that's not what I believe Tekken is. For some characters, yes, Huarong has always been that type of character, right?
Yeah.
And people fucking hate him because of that. But You know, Huarang, fine. If there's one character that can do that, but now it feels like they've given everyone, like, even Jack, bro. Jack was never a stance character. He's now a stance character. Arslan mentioned on the podcast before that he likes playing characters that are not stance heavy. That's why he plays Nina right now, for example. But now everyone is kind of a stance character, and you have to play those stances in order to optimally play Tekken 8. You know.
It's that
Yeah.
Well,
that's
you
that
know,
streamlined offense, man.
Mm.
That's what it is. They just give you they give you a situation. They give you like 5 or 6 curated moves. Forget your 100 moves that make Tekken
Yes.
so fun that you have so many options. They just put you in a set situation that's always the same with like 5 curated moves, and you get to pick that.
Yeah.
You don't have to think too much. The opponent doesn't have to think too much, even though they do, because they're gonna die otherwise. And yeah, streamlined. That's what they did, and that's yeah, they're doing that to everyone. It used to be
do you
character specific. If you liked that, there was a character for you. Now everyone's
is
doing that.
Yeah.
is this conversation about how watchable Tekken 8 is, or how fun it is to watch?
It's
I think it's both. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying it's not about how fun it is to play, but also to watch. Because I said I don't feel like it's that fun to watch. You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, because you know what's going to happen if they're in the stance. It's one
yeah.
of 4 things.
Mm.
So it makes it boring because you know more or less what's coming next. Like, oh, he went for the low. Like that's not that hype because it was either that or 1 or 2 other options.
This is why, by the way, that even though Asuka was top 3, she's not a stance character. I actually enjoyed playing against her, even though she was really strong. You know, it's funny. I would rather play versus Asuka than some of these like Eddie Gordo, Lydia, you know, Victor, and these types of characters, because even though she was really strong, she is still not a stance character. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I personally, I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna get beaten by some really overpowered moves, and she was overpowered, super overpowered, at least I'm like, you know what? I didn't get stance mixed. You know.
Yeah.
I agree unless I'm playing against Tibetano.
Well, that's just annoying in general. But yeah.
Yeah, but like, otherwise, yeah, I gotta agree. Like,
Yeah.
and the thing is, the stronger characters in the game, quote unquote, are the characters that are not doing that, which is what's crazy. Season 1 Dragonov, Nina, the whole time, like, even Yoshi a little bit. Like, it's character, like the
Yoshi's
stronger
straight
characters,
up
the ones that aren't
broken.
being forced to play that. They usually have the option if they want to right now because they got like, Anna's doing that. She can play with all the stances or not, right?
Mm.
Like that's what's
I
crazy is that
think
they're forcing that on
personally,
everyone, and that's not even what's good.
Mm.
I may
That's not
be
even what's
wrong about
working.
this, but I believe that like what makes a fighting game more fun to watch has very little to do with the combat design. I think that the simplicity of what's happening on screen makes it more watchable. I think that Street Fighter 4 had less visual noise, and it was the most watchable and fun to follow Street Fighter if you didn't play in history. I think that it's a psychological thing. I think it actually has a lot to do with like the brain and what goes into your eye when you're watching something. The more you remember, Joey was just talking about the visual noise. I think
Mhm.
that the visual noise is literally like a psychological turnoff. When you look at the screen and there's so much to see, it gets less fun to watch for your brain to interpret all these details, flashes and explosions, even backgrounds and colors and any kind of feathers and flowing.
I somehow agree with this because, yes, there is some visual vomit on the screen when it comes to Tekken, but at the same time, I also noticed there's a lot of like visual noise in 2x KO as well, particularly when you have a lot of character skins. It gets really difficult for me to actually pay attention to what a big character like Braum or let's say, Warwick or Darius are about to do, on top of having a lot of visuals and them being so big, right? That they can literally hide my character. And I don't know what I'm doing, right?
Capes, all those things become a factor when your mind is processing what it looks at. And I think the simpler is better. I think, like in Tekken 7, when you saw two characters fighting each other, it was very easy to
Yeah.
understand. All you need to do is know anything about the concept of fighting, and you will understand. It's simple. There's punches and kicks. There aren't too many explosions. There aren't surprises like a bazooka. Surprise bazooka is not something that your brain is going to say, okay, that's cool. It's naturally not something that you're going to think, it's like a very jarring thing to present to the viewer. So I really think that when you if you're discussing the viewability of the game, it's
Yes.
so it's almost nothing to do with combat balance. It has to do with what you're giving the eye, what you're feeding the eye. If it's going to be explosions, and it becomes like something hard to watch in a very physical way, not in an emotional way.
So
You
Yep.
literally
l-
struggle.
let me ask you then, Arista. If, let's say that there were less sparks, less crazy animations, less fire, flames like Clive and Lydia with all
Effects.
the stuff going on.
Mechanics too, mechanics as well.
Yeah, let's say if it was just, let's say they have the same moves, right? They a lot of stance transitions. Would you say that that is fun to watch then if it was just less animated, like the stance transition
Well,
type of
my
gameplay?
claim my claim is that the more you add for the eye to see, which includes life bars, which includes meters,
Yeah, yeah.
which includes flames and installs, and the more you add, the less fun it will be to watch. If you add paint
Dumb
streaks
down.
like drive rushes into the middle of the screen, and every character has it, so it's like plaguing the screen is plagued with purple and green,
Hmm.
it's going to be less fun to watch. That's what I'm claiming. I'm not a doctor. That's just what I think. I think that when, like, for example, there are other games like any game that you've watched on stream that you can't really get into just by watching it.
Oh, like
You
League of
have to
Legends or some
play
shit.
it.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know what's funny. Yeah.
exactly. You have to get those types of Tekken and fighting games like this are leaning more towards that direction
Mm.
where the average person can't just look at it and understand what's going on. You have to know what's going on to understand what's going on, and that's what makes it less watchable to me.
Mm.
The more you have to understand about the game, the less it's just about fists and kicks, the less watchable it becomes. It's just too much noise. And it's not about emotions. It's literally about your eye. Like it's a turn off to your brain,
Yeah.
is what I think.
Yeah, yeah. You can get
I gotta I
overstimulated.
gotta disagree, man.
Really?
Good, I'm
Like,
listening.
a lot of the reason Tekken 7 was praised is because it was visually more
Neat.
interesting, quote unquote. Because there was like the zooms and like the slowdowns and all that, and a lot of stuff
Right.
was
Of
happening.
course.
And I personally enjoy watching very chaotic things, very colorful things. In Tekken 7, I played Akuma, blew up the screen every 5 seconds, and I enjoyed watching that. Personally, I don't really like the whole minimalist thing. I understand it be that's a very valid opinion to hold, but I don't think that's necessarily just an objective thing,
Mm.
right?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
There are games like Dragon Ball Fighter, for
Mm.
example, that's extreme chaos. But I think there's another aspect to that. I mean, if you know about Dragon Ball, then it's no longer extreme chaos because you
True.
understand, oh, this is Goku level 3, he does this. It's really like simplified if you understand it. But I'm talking about to the average pair of
Yeah, no,
eyes.
that's what
That's
I'm
all I'm
talking
saying.
about. Like, I've seen people who didn't understand Tekken watch Tag 2, where I was like, wow, I understand everything that's going on. It's so hype for me. And they didn't find it interesting because not enough was happening. And they would watch Tekken 7 and be like, wow, I like this a lot more. I think maybe for some people Tekken 8 has gone overboard in that. That's completely understandable. I think there's a right balance to strike. But you can say above. Let's get Tekken 6 instead of Tag 2 because that way it's only two characters, right? It's a lot simpler. A lot less is happening than Tekken 7 with all the slowdowns, power crush, rage arts, special moves, 2D bars, and all that. There's a lot less happening in those games, and I remember at least during Tekken 7 was praised for having all these extra visuals that weren't a part of Tekken before.
But it wasn't overdone though. That's the thing. It was
Yeah,
so
yeah,
easy
no,
to watch.
yeah. I think there's a balance to strike, but
Yeah.
like Ares was
Sure.
going more towards even life bars being cluttered on screen. So I would say I'm personally not a fan of the minimalism, and maybe they've gone a bit too much in Tekken 8.
A bit?
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I like when shit blows up, but it is a lot. It is a lot. Like, I don't like Clive, for example. Like for me, that's
Clive
too
is a
Yes.
much.
lot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I
The
draw. I draw the
Live
line at
is too
Clive. You
much.
might draw the line at Tekken 8. Aris might draw the line at even before Tag 2, right?
Mm.
But that's
I
yeah,
do think that Tekken got really loud in season 3, Tekken 7. It
Yeah.
got really loud. Like it started to become hard to follow for an expert, like for someone who's
Yes,
been around for
particularly when
decades, it started
Fakum
to
Ram
become
was
hard to follow
released.
as a viewer,
And it
So
started
you
happening
started to
after
smell it at that point,
Leroy.
and that's kind of like when I feel like I stepped away a little bit. But as far as the presentation of Tekken 7, I think that's a big part of its success.
Mm.
It was really simple. It had dynamic camera angle changes. It had excitement when you needed it, but it wasn't there all the time. It was only the end of the rounds. When you have explosions and shit at the start, you're exhausted.
yeah,
Visually,
yeah.
you're
It's
exhausted by the
striking
time
the
it's the
right
end of the round.
balance,
It's
right?
it's
Yeah, it's really like
overstimulating
But
for sure.
yeah.
I'm saying like Tekken historically was had a lot less, and it's Tekken 7 when it started being praised for adding noise.
True. I agree.
Yeah,
I
but
Yeah,
agree.
only a
that's
little
what I
bit
like
though.
to add.
Only a little bit, and it wasn't what it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
now.
yeah.
And
Let's not
I think that's
overdo
fine.
things.
But it's like again, I agree with Aris. I think that when I talk to my friends who have the game, they bought Tekken 7 and they watch it, they're complete casuals. Even my nephews, they'll be watching tournaments as well because they see that I was commentating once upon a time.
Once upon a
They would watch it and be like, I can follow this. This is fun to watch. Oh, this is so hype. Because there's like they know what's happening. They've watched Bruce Lee when they were kids, and they wanted to watch Law, and they're like, oh, that Bruce Lee character's so cool, man. Like, but now it's like if they were to watch and they see the heat animations, the heat dash and the stance transitions where the sparks going everywhere, Clive with fire coming out of his ass, and bro, you can't see what's happening even as the player. That gets too overstimulating, I believe. Well, Rip, what do you think about the that kind of maybe less animations making the game a lot easier and fun
Less
to watch?
effects. Don't
No, I was
call
actually
them
watching Metalcat play Tekken
animations,
7 last night,
please.
and if you just compare Tekken 7 to Tekken
Simulations
8 now,
would be
it's
the right word.
visually so distinct, right? It's Tekken 7, you're missing like a ton of sparks and effects. That extra visual flair on top of everything, and as you mentioned, all the heat system mechanics already are going to matter as well. But I think just in general, the VFX were way lower in Tekken 7.
Yes,
So you just,
VFX would
as
be the right
Eric
word.
described, you see mainly just the characters and the stages, and that's primarily it. You've got the life bar, rage matters. To Super Kuma's point, Tekken 7 added a lot in terms of presentation, but that was to me more the slow mo and more of the rage arts, and a little bit of the rage drives maybe. But overall, it was pretty minimal in comparison to what
Yes.
Tekken 8 is.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yes.
definitely.
yeah. Joey, what do you think?
Yeah, it's like the enhanced visual noise. It has to like be an embellishment of certain like key moments. Like when the rage drive comes out, like there's going to be colors and like streaks and like sounds to embellish that moment to let you know something significant has happened. And I think Tekken 7 generally did that balance like really well. It's just like that exclamation point on a hype moment. Like Paul's rage drive lands, like the screen's gonna light up, but it's not on everything. And
Mhm.
we keep like talking about Clive. Clive is by far the worst offender. Like he'll do one string. He'll do like the heat engager and then that like down forward one string flurry bullshit. It looks like a rage art. It looks like a rage art is happening on the screen and he's just doing like a string that he can do whenever. It's insane how overdone it is. It's way, way, way too much. I think it's like way beyond anything
Yeah,
that's
the
happening in
effects
7.
And
definitely
it takes
needs
away
to
from like
be
the martial arts aspect of
taken
it as
down.
well, which I think is
like
important to a lot of
toned
people,
down
right? Like
to be precise.
you want to see the character, performing the move, right? And some of the moves are actually inspired by actual films and martial arts and stuff. And as much as people don't like Ram because of the kind of how strong he is and stuff, but that character represents
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai, right? And it's hard to see what's going on there when there's too many hit animations going on, right? And we don't see the martial arts aspect of it, or the stuff that people appreciate. And as Aris said, yes, much more difficult to follow, which I think is just another issue that people have with Tekken 8. But I think a lot of the things that we that people had an issue with in season 2, that those issues still persist, and I'm not seeing people kind of discuss that anymore. They're not discussing like, oh, we want this change. Because I remember back in HeatSpeak in season 1, we were talking about it. Look, we want Power Crush heat engagers gone. We want this gone. Like, oh, this needs to be nerfed. Those conversations aren't happening anymore. And is that just because people have given up? Like, what's
I
happening here?
mean, what happened to you after you
Zubair,
started
walaikum
discussing what
assalam.
should happen
Welcome
with
to
the
the
game?
stream.
I mean, that's
Hope you're
me,
doing well.
But
Yeah, I mean
yeah,
that's me too.
yeah.
And then I don't want to. Well,
Just say it.
there's
You
no
can say it now.
well, there's other people involved, right? It's just there is it's it's crazy how it feels like everyone is silenced now. Like at the time last year when I was on this podcast, I don't feel like I said anything that was crazy, but people think that maybe I got removed because of this podcast.
Mm.
And I was very cautious on this podcast last time, right? So I don't think I said anything crazy. And then when I tweeted, like it was a constructive criticism tweet, whatever,
Mm.
I thought I listed out everything that I disliked about the game, which is my thoughts as someone who's passionate about the series, as a commentator, as someone who has to break down the game at a very high level, and what I thought was the mistakes that they were making with season 2, right? So the response to that was, we don't need you anymore. We don't want you anymore. We don't ever want to hear from you again, right? And the same thing for you, essentially, right? So that to me has kind of put this like silencing effect because I don't see any of the TWT commentators saying like, season 3 is interesting because of X, Y, and Z. No one is saying anything,
Mm.
right? It's just like silence out there.
True.
So this time intentionally for season 3, I didn't say anything. Like I really didn't. I didn't even read the whole patch notes. So
Same here.
I've said nothing, and yet the response is the same. So I don't think it had anything to do with what I was saying, and I don't think it has anything to do with what any of the other commentators would say. But it's just really crazy that their response to that situation is what, in my eyes, has led to this like silencing of what the current state of the game is or what the criticisms of it should be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously the podcast has been a little bit controversial, and that's no secret to a lot of people that know. It has been difficult for me to even reach out to some people as well to say, hey, get onto the podcast, and some people legit would just be like, no, because they are too afraid to come onto a platform and speak. The thing is, I think the way that I am and the way that you are, Rip, that we're very outspoken people in general, just in general. And like Aris, as you were saying, that when you're passionate about something, you want it to be better, and if you have a voice, then you try to use that to try and help if you can. Now, I was told once upon a time to channel my negativity into constructiveness, right? And this is what the podcast was about. But yeah, I don't know. At this point, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is gonna help at all. But to have you guys on talking about what you have issues with, I can't see how that's not helpful, and it should be encouraged in my opinion. But yeah, maybe I'm just a dumbass, I shouldn't have said anything.
They're selling tacos, bro. We're just coming back to they're selling tacos.
To me, this feeling that you guys have, and
Copium needed.
a lot of the things that you guys are saying that may seem like they have nothing to do with the point of they're pretending like they have a live service, they're pretending like they listen to the community, that is linked. This sensation you guys have is linked to that. It's like they're just simply not good at it yet, or maybe they never will be, but they're just not good at giving the community the sentiment that this is truly a live service game, that we will fix it for you. They're not giving you that sensation, and that's
True.
the sensation that they are supposed to give and follow through. They're supposed to follow through.
Yep.
Hmm.
I just feel like we're the 5 stages of grief at this point, man.
I'm not.
You're on acceptance.
I'm not. I'm
You're
feeling
on
it.
acceptance.
I
You've
sleep
made
like
your
a
peace with
baby,
it.
dude.
You've
I
made
sleep
your
like a
peace.
baby. I really genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, feel bad for people who love Tekken and must continue for one reason or another, whether it's beautiful Riyadh, whether it's streaming viewers, whether it's anything. I sincerely don't envy someone who loves Tekken and is forced to continue for one reason or another, even though their heart doesn't want to. That's a place I've been, and it's not a pleasant place to be. And so, yeah, it sucks for people. It
प्रोफेशनल
sucks
प्लेयर्स
that
की नहीं सुनी
Tekken 8 is
हाँ
what it is, and this is the way it went down. Feels
ऐसे ही है
bad.
Let me touch this really quick.
वही अभी सारी डिस्कशन
Law
यही
in
हुई है
season 3 is fun, and it's crazy because they gave him this new move. It's a high homing attack, 16 frames, and it's +1 on block.
And you can do
Right.
it from crouch.
And you can do it from crouch. Yes.
That's the most.
So-
That's the best thing about it. That's the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
thing about it.
It's amazing, right?
Yes.
And so I was talking to Steve at the EVO Awards. I was like, this is my problem with Tekken 8. This one move, it sort of summarizes the entire issue I
The whole
have with
game.
their systems. And I told Steve, like, it's like, what's the problem? I'm like, okay, let's imagine your back is to the wall. I do this move. Boom, I'm +1. What do you do? He's like, nothing. I'm like, okay. Then I do the move again. I was like, he's like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, exactly. And like, that's it. That's the whole problem. And so many characters have this kind of issue. And the issue is that you don't really have a way out. You have to just make straight up a guess. And it could be very, very bad for you. And you get that feeling a lot when playing the game.
Mm.
But now, the flip side of this is, Law didn't have this before. And now I have this. So now I feel like I'm playing Tekken 8. And I didn't have that before with my character. So in a way, it's like it feels more fair for me, which it didn't before. So it's like, if you want this feeling for everyone, give everyone this bullshit. Everyone's gonna be pissed, but everyone will also be a little bit happier. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but it's weird. It's very strange.
Yeah, but the thing, what about when you play against a law player and you're in that same situation?
hate it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So, like
Sucks.
Super Kuma said, when you have the bullshit and you apply that, someone is on the other end taking that bullshit.
On the
right? And it's
receiving
gonna
end,
happen
yeah.
to you
I
eventually as well.
apologized after grand finals so many times during Tekken 7. Like, I would shake their hand. I wouldn't say GG's, I'd say sorry.
That would piss me off
For
if you
doing
said
what-
that. If you apologize to me after beating me, I'll get pissed, bro.
Like, I did that so many times during Tekken 7 because I knew what I was doing. I mean, but that's the game. What am I going to do? Not do that?
Fair
Not leave with my money?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
my money. I picked the
Also,
right character.
To be fair, Law was complete bullshit before this move came about. I knew
Yeah.
this. I can't. I
Thank
can't.
you.
Okay.
Can't let you off the hook with that one.
Okay. Law was very good. I completely agree. Law is very good. People think top 5. I think probably top 10. But
There's no buts. Oh, wait.
the nerf, the big big nerf to me is losing the wall heat smash, right? The wall splat on the heat smash. I think that's a pretty big nerf. His heat time reduction on the nunchucks is crazy because he should never have had it in the first place. I don't think anyone should get more heat timer back. So like the fact that he got nerfed there, like
So
it's
what's
like
the
it's a nerf,
problem?
but like I don't know.
It's the same
bro.
thing. It
Like,
doesn't matter.
So what's the
Yeah,
problem?
And his nunchuck
the
should
other thing
never
is,
hit the
there's
grounded
also some
opponent.
wide issue with
Moving
Tekken 8.
on.
They gave his down 1, which is a
That's
low
the
poke.
most
They sped it up, right?
bullshittiest
So
thing
now it's faster.
Law
And they've done this
has.
to multiple characters
Oh,
where
yeah,
their
yeah.
low pokes are faster now, so that you
On
have
top
less
of having a
reaction.
slide after
And
that.
that to me is just problematic in general, and that's kind of one of those things where how do you fix that long term? Like, are you just going to slowly undo all of those changes? You're not. So I feel like
No.
it's tacos now, right? So that's what it
Yeah.
is.
It's tacos.
What's the other part?
Tacos.
it.
Law's
That's all we
DSS
gotta say.
change. Law's DSS change is the weirdest shit to me. Not the easy input. They gave him this just frame input on his DSS forward 1,
Mhm.
and you have to do it slower than perfect to be perfect, right? So if you do it slower on your transition, you have to wait for his leg to come back down, then do the input. Then it comes out at 13 frames, which connects as a combo. But if you
Mhm.
do it faster than that, it's 14 frames, but doesn't connect as a combo, which makes 0 sense. So it's not even like frame data at this point. I don't know if that's like a special case exception thing, right?
That's
That
just
doesn't
input
follow
buffer.
frame data.
There are
rules.
so many
What was that?
special case
it's input buffer.
exception.
Because
in
it's
Tekken.
14 frames, but it doesn't. The point where it's 0,
Yeah.
like the point where you start counting, there's still
Right.
frames where you're both stuck.
Yeah,
That's why you
you
don't
still
start
buffered
counting
it
because
in.
you're both stuck. But you can input during that. That's why that's
So my
happening.
issue with that is like this just frame isn't that first frame of your input buffer, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
like the
weird.
fastest
Yeah.
possible input you could do it, which would be the perfect timing for it, is not where the just frame is, and that feels really
wrong.
bizarre to me.
Yeah.
So
That is weird.
I want to ask then, moving on to our final topic, the future, and I'll start with Joey for this one. Joey, okay, we're here now. It's the 1st of April, 2026. Game came out in Jan 2024. Game's probably going to be out for another few years, couple years, I don't know. where do we go from here? What would you say needs to happen for the game to be acceptable in your eyes in terms of like you as a competitive player? And does there have to be a lot of changes, or are there like some system changes that could just be enough for you to be happy?
Um, it's it's such a hard question. Like it's really hard to say, and like in some ways, I feel like almost a little bit exhausted. It's been like 2 years of like, how do they fix the game? What do we have to do? It's like not my job. I'm not a developer. Like I thought like
Right.
they would figure that shit out, you know. um, but I think I mean, I think what Eris has been saying today is right. There has to be like a certain amount of acceptance. Like this is what the game is. Um, at the same time, I think there are like some standout situations and like moves on pretty much every character that I think like just some common sense balancing could be done. We were just talking about Law. Like he slides on you when he has heat. He turns around, flips you over with a nunchuck. You are in
Yes, flips you
possibly one
up
of
with
like
the
the most
nunchuck.
obnoxious
We don't need
vortexes
flip
in the entire
ups.
game. Like that's just it's got to go. There's just like things like that where like how is that a thing? He's doing this slide, he's hitting you with a nunchuck, he's getting like what 30 plus damage, regenerating heat into another mix up. It's just insane. And like there are things like this, June's laser beam. I was using that phrase like I can't believe I'm fighting this. Like just common sense stuff that you could refine and just make the game better, and not put people in these like unbelievably frustrating, like helpless feeling situations. Just like get back to neutral, get back to neutral, and like play the game, and people will feel better and they'll be having like more fun. Um, so if those types of changes could be made, I think improvements to the game are available. Um, People that are like talking about like overhauling the heat system itself, I mean, obviously it's just not going to happen. I do, I have had like an issue with the general flow of the game where, you'll see just like the very first launch, the player activates heat. And it's like, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Like the very first opportunity you have, activate heat. Um, that just goes along with making the game right like feel streamlined and less creative and less interesting. Just activate heat, get them to the wall, try to kill them with wall pressure and heat pressure. It's not too interesting to play. It's not that interesting to watch. But things like that, I don't know if they ever would change. But my hope would be that they would refine some of the really bad, like the worst offender like balance decisions, and just kind of rein things in. But other than that, like the game is what it is, and I don't even really want to sit like thinking about like, well, what could it be, or what if they changed this, or what would the consequences
Jalao,
be
kiddo.
if Heat Burst didn't do this? Like I'm
Yeah.
kind of just sick of it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't think
Yes,
that they're gonna,
it's
if
very
if
expensive
anything's
now,
gonna
man.
change and it just becomes a good
Just
thing. I will
really
say,
not good.
though, that in
That's
season
not
3,
good
like
at
I
all.
mentioned, there was one character that got really good nerfs, and that was Asuka. Asuka obviously was represented
This is
very
ridiculous.
often in like the top 8s and top 3s in tournaments. Fergus, Kingray Jr., Tibetano all qualified for the Tekken World Tour Finals. I think but 2 of them qualified for EWC as well. Asuka was everywhere pretty much, and they nerfed her best moves. Like, full catch down 4-3 was nerfed in such a great way so that you don't have to take any mix-ups afterwards. Down 1+2 no longer guarantees any hit anymore after that. And the forward 2 Tooth Fairy that used to flip over no longer flips over anymore. And I think that flip over Oki is one of the most obnoxious things that they added into Tekken, and that was back in Tekken 7, right? And I remember even Starscream, old school player, he was like, as soon as flip over Oki got added into the game, he goes, "This is a problem." And I didn't realize it until until a lot later, but I'm like, holy fuck, yeah, it is a problem, right? So I want to say that, even though we're talking about, season 3 and people being upset and everything, that those changes to Asuka were great. And I would love to see that with
Across the board.
Across the board. Every other
Sachi
character.
और खब्बे भी
Nerf
खानी
the
है.
amount of vortexes that people have to take. Back in Tekken Tag 2, I get hit by Kazuya Hell Sweep. I'm taking the down back 3 and I'm getting up and playing again. Now, I'm
Do
going
you think that Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. Do you think that Oscar players are happy with the changes the way you are?
Fergus has is probably like the most popular Oscar player, most successful Oscar player right now, and he said that he is actually happy with the changes, but he's not happy that everybody else didn't get similar changes. So if everyone
So let
else
me
gets, yeah,
let me ask you this. So let's say they do what you just suggested and they give that same kind of treatment to every character across the board. Do you think that that's going to provide good Steam reviews?
I think that that will make
Maybe
the top,
actually.
like you mentioned, right, Aris, that
Maybe.
if you make the top players happy, if you make the guys who are playing this on a professional level, who are massive content creators that have a lot of influence, if they are feeling like they're happy and that they can play the game again and express themselves in a better way, then it does trickle down, and people do get. I think that it would actually trickle down and get people more happy.
I'm gonna give you guys a very good example. So the way Fatal Fury City of the Wolves actually started, it was straight up bad. We saw so many Hotaru players in the top eight. We saw so many Billy players right now in the top eight. But in this season two, they actually fixed the game so well that we actually would see the diversity in the top eight. You know, that was so good to see, which is not happening with Tekken, because eventually, whatever happens, we will definitely, since Tekken is a game with a bigger cast, you will see, you know, like the top fives are gonna be in the top eights, right? And that's something that's probably bad.
I don't think that they would review bomb the way that
The
they.
game should be balanced in a way that it, with top eights, we should have at least six different characters. You know, even if that doesn't happen, you know, we should at least get to see a fair fight. The problem is with Tekken 8 is that uh I said it even in season 1. I remember saying that even on the commentary, that this game isn't just about skill anymore, because it's majorly about luck now. And you know, Ulsan is saying the same thing in season 3. I've been saying this shit since season 1.
Been doing. I'm not saying that everyone's going to
Yeah.
be happy and that, I still think he
We do not get the same pleasure as we used to. Like, you know, beating Arslan for him was a bigger deal. And now seeing Arslan lose to a Tom, Dick, and Harry actually isn't that great for a player like Ulsan,
burst
right?
is one of the worst mechanics in the game. I think that it's really annoying to play against. I don't like it. There's a lot of things that I don't like. There's also things that I like as well. But I think that the changes that were made to Asuka were really good. And if they did that across the board, that would give people confidence. And also, I believe, knowing the top players, knowing the Koreans and the Pakistanis and
Yes,
stuff, they would be
SNK
very
did
happy
took
about that,
their
because
time,
then it
did take
reduces
their
the amount
time and
of
actually fixed
forced
it.
50-50s they got to take. Asuka
And they
before,
did
down with
listen to the
dispute,
community,
forward
and that's
two,
the
now you
best
flip it over,
part.
Yeah.
she runs up to
Yeah.
you, you're in a mix-up. Now, if you
Now, if we're just talking about Tekken, let me also add that as compared to all of these things, like, just look, I know a lot of you guys don't follow the 2x KO game, but I have been following that game. I've been seeing the way how they've been patching the game, and have been actually stating what needs to be good and what needs to be bad. 2x KO actually gets patched every month. Can you believe that? That game actually gets patched every month. And players are extremely happy, you know. Whatever is wrong, they call it out, and you know, someone actually makes a deadliest clip, and then they go back and actually fix that shit. You know, that's exactly how it should happen.
get hit by a 4-2, it's similar to Tekken Tag 2 on the older games, where you get hit and then you're back up and you're back playing the game again. That's the problem. Is there's too many situations right now where you're getting flipped over, you get spiked. Like, there's
Yes.
so many spike combos. Everyone has a spike combo now, and you
Yeah.
have to take a mix up after the spike combo, right? And so these things need to go. And I think Asuka is proof that they know how to nerf a character if they really put their mind to it. And I
Yes,
really want
SN
Well,
that for.
the question
SAU.
is, from their perspective, I'm sure that they're wondering, will, if we piss off everyone that plays every character in our game at the same time, maybe that will be a bad thing for our game. They're probably scared to take away power from every character
Mm.
at the same time.
Yeah.
That's my guess. They're probably fearful, and especially knowing
Yeah.
that their community has become really like hell bent on revenge. Like when they do something wrong, they really make that game look shitty on Steam. I mean, I had never heard of a feature that excludes off topic reviews. This game has been subject to a period of off topic reviews. What the fuck does that mean? They it's ridiculous. I've never
Off
heard of a
topic
game
reviews.
being so poorly reviewed that they themselves have to remove the reviews and say, "Forget those. We promise. It doesn't suck that bad." I've never heard of that. I mean, so from there, from the developer's perspective, they are likely fearful to do what likely you're right. I bet you most people would like that. They would accept the nerfs to their own character in order for the greater good of the game. The game will be less volatile and good players will be more able to control the situation. It's more controllable
True.
defensively, right? That's what basically you're asking for, right?
The moment Taken 8 came, what did I said? That no matter how chaotic this game is going to be, I was actually wrong, but I'm just gonna state it. The moment this game is gonna come out, oh my god, this game is too chaotic and everything. But even then, I said that the good defense will win. But clearly, even the good defense god like frickin' Nee and Arslan are being cooked by some Tom, Dick, and Harry. That means there is a problem with the game.
Defensive control is what you want for a good player to allow his skill to protect him from some random fucking shit, sword or whatever. But I really don't know if they would ever do something like that because of fear. I think
But
they're just afraid to nerf.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
But
only
as you
reason they nerf.
yeah,
Go ahead.
as you mentioned though, the reviews are terrible at the moment. So what?
Yeah.
And they were bad in season 2, by the way. So when the season 2 changes came in, and people spoke about it, people expressed exactly what the issues were and they knew this from even season 1 as well, because we were talking about it in season 1, right? Like what the specific issues were that people are not willing to discuss now, by the way. Um,
Mm.
but they knew what the issues were that people had with the game in terms of the can 50-50s, the stance mix-ups, and the
And let me also tell you guys, like, straight away, I used to criticize this game quite a lot on stream. You guys will never see me do that quite a lot during tournaments. And the reason for that is that, first of all, of course, it's a cancel culture now. So if you said something bad about the game, these two guys on the upper left corner, Spag and um, Rip, they've been cancelled from TWT. My career hasn't even actually started yet. Like, let me so to speak. Yes, I did get to commentate the Challenger event. Yes, I'm eligible to commentate the Master event because I've commentated the Challenger event. I have commentated a lot of dojo stuff, and but then again, I don't think that Bandai Namco is going to probably take me on a master event. I'm scared. Why? Because I feel like they might just freaking cancel me because I might have said something really bad about the game in the past. You get what I'm saying? And that's the only reason why a lot of people are silenced on season 3. Yes, we did. We were pretty vocal on season 2, but things are not the same. As uh, Rip said that we're seeing silence around season 3.
big damage and the wall carry, everything, all the stuff that we spoke about, right? And when it was doubled down on, the reviews were really bad in season 2. Now
Yep.
I don't so I look at season 3 now, and I think most people were like, okay, back to basics, this is the phrase that's coming out.
Hmm.
They got everyone's thinking, okay, at this point they must know that the nerfs is what everyone wants rather than buffs. If they nerf every character, then okay, you might be pissed off that your character got nerfed. I wouldn't be, but some people might be. But they're also going to be happy that every other character got nerfed as well, right?
Yeah.
So
There
In
was a time
theory,
for that
in
though.
theory.
in theory,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was literally the right time to do this because during season 2,
Yes.
like the
Season
later
3
patches,
was
not
a perfect opportunity to nerf every character. But instead of them getting nerfed, everyone got new move and some new buffs.
right on when it happened. Like people got their characters nerfed, and they were complaining, and they were like, "Oh, why not the other characters?" Or just straight up complaining about the nerfs. And then what
Like
happened?
they literally made back 4 that was minus 14 on block now a launch punishable move to Horang, and while Horang doesn't even make it into top 8, the only guy who's actually getting Horang to reach top 8 is Edge, and we know that how much time he plays, like how much time he spends playing the game. You get what I'm saying? So just because there are so many other bitches that actually can't handle or doesn't know how to deal with whoring are going to say shit, but Bandai Namco is gonna listen to them, but not gonna listen to everyone, then that's really problematic and it's very confusing.
The whole of the community got together to tell them to just suck it up because it's for the better of the game, and the nerfs to their characters are coming, and they could have done it slowly and gradually as they were kind of
Yes.
starting to do, and then
Like
they
they
kind
want
of
the
did like a
constructive criticism, but when someone actually going to criticize their game, they're going to get cancelled. This is exactly also happened with Ayano, for instance. Like she actually made a document about Taken 8's customization problems, right? She just made a document about customizational problem, and they literally cancelled her for a challenger event in Dubai.
quarter
You
of
get
the
what I'm
job,
saying?
and they went, "All right, see you in 6 months for season 3." If they had just done a bit more during that time,
The worst part is that they are literally taking the hardcore fan of the game off that actually produce content for their game. They're literally just kicking off those people who play their game.
and not just
It's
suddenly stopped out of
mind-boggling.
nowhere, that would have been the time to nerf all the characters because it's like, okay, we're fixing
For a stupid like me, I love this game with my heart. I live, breathe, and if someone knows, if I'm among my friends, you will definitely see my hands moving, even if I'm talking about something else, right? That's how much I love fighting games. My hands will be moving, I will be doing a condition in my head, and I'm always contemplating it. I'm like this since I was 6 year old. I am like that. So imagine how much I would be loving this game. And you guys know, like, I trash talk a lot when I'm playing rank, and I do talk a lot of shit about the game, but I keep coming back to it because I love this game. I have a love and hate relationship with the game, and I'm totally fine with it, right? I'm just gonna keep playing this game as long as I want to, and as long as I enjoy. But that enjoy part is slowly fading because it's the same thing after 9 months. At least give us that right to speak our mind.
season 2 during season 2. Was a perfect time to do that, and they didn't do it during that time.
Well, they could have done it in season
If
3
they
as
did it
well.
in season 3 and they just nerfed everyone in one go, I agree that even though everyone asked for that, when it actually would happen, people would complain. A lot of people would be happy, but there would have been a lot of complaints. But there was a right time to do that, and they just missed
Have
the
you
window.
have you guys considered the idea? What if? Just follow along with me.
Hmm.
What if the
What if?
guys who made Tekken, the original person holding the brush,
Hmm.
doesn't work there anymore? Doesn't make Tekken
True.
anymore. So
That's what I'm saying.
now there is a new artist.
Yes.
It's still called Tekken 8, but let's just say I have no idea if this is true.
That same guy probably isn't that connected with the character, and they're responsible to replace someone else. They may not have the same motivation as the previous guy or the emotional connection with that particular character. So I don't know.
But let's say Tekken 8 launches, and a lot
And they
like a
did
lot of
say
other
that they're going to bring, tag tournament 2 team, back in to fix all of these changes apparently.
games, 2XKO, whatever you name it, it doesn't do as well as they thought. I have no idea if this is true, but let's say Tekken 8 launches, and a lot like a lot of other games, 2XKO, whatever you name it, it doesn't do as well as they thought at launch, so they get rid of the whole team. Everyone who worked on Tekken 8 is, let's say, gone. And there's a
मुझे भी
skeleton crew
Vital
who
City
maybe
join
doesn't know what the
करनी
fuck they're doing. They worked on Soul Calibur 4
I feel
or
sorry
something
for you,
like
man.
that, back when they were new to Namco. They just were QA testing Soul Calibur 3, and now that guy is in charge of Tekken 8. This could be the case. We don't know. Japanese companies are not usually as open with their internal shit like this as other companies are. So we don't know what's going on over there. We don't know who's working on the game. We don't know any details. So when we are sitting here just like hopefully discussing what
This
we
is
think
something
should be
that I
changed or
already
whatever, literally
highlighted
imagine that the artist
long time
holding the
ago.
brush is just some stand-in. And
That
he
they're
doesn't even
literally changing
have
the
a
team.
base
It's not
concept
an
of
easy
he
job
loves Soul
to
Calibur
balance a
4.
game as well.
He's
This
a
is
Soul
also a
Calibur 4
fact,
player,
by the way.
but he works at Namco. He's the only guy that didn't lose his job. And the bosses at Namco were like, hey, Soul Calibur 4 guy, you know fighting games. We need a season 3 of Tekken 8 and
Yeah.
step on it. Okay, you got it, boss.
True.
I mean, we're over here talking about things that
True.
are like it's a fantasy.
When I used to work in mobile game industry, I remember, like being pulled out. Like I was working on simulation games, like more like racing games, and maybe I've worked on all sorts of games, like open world as well, to some extent. And I used to design the graphics, used to design the levels and everything. And but then again, they are going to put me on a team to work on a beat 'em up game all of a sudden, right? Because they're lacking a designer or someone just resigned from their job. So this actually happens.
But this is the reality of the situation is this is a product that has to make money and someone has to be driving the car. Who's driving the car? We don't know. But
Yes, we don't
from my
know.
perspective, he don't know how to drive. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's why I've been very careful. And like, I see a lot of people throwing names out and saying, "Ah, f this guy, f that guy." I mean, we don't know what the internal.
Why don't they
Exactly.
say, hey, shout out to those guys, bro? Why you gotta
Yeah.
F them, man? Come on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why F them, dude?
Be nice.
Yeah,
Come on.
screw.
But we genuinely don't
People
know
have been
what's
really
happening.
bad towards the devs, and that's something I also, I spoke about this in the matter. And actually, Michael Murray liked my tweet.
We
internally,
know.
right?
Yeah.
But what we do know is
And I also know that, what's his name again? Oh shit. Nakatsu-san. I also know that Nakatsu-san actually visits my profile to see what I tweet. I know it's dangerous, but
everything that we
I know.
asked for, most of the stuff that we asked for in season 1 and 2 was not acted upon. So
They did the opposite.
yes,
It wasn't acted upon. Is that they did the opposite.
I really wish that there was like some way for so they added in this Discord now where you can go and give your opinion on things that should be changed, right? And that's
You've
maybe
been in there.
I have unfortunately been in there, and it's full of morons, man. Like they're just people just
You don't say.
I'm absolutely shocked.
like people are colluding to try and get their characters buffed. They apparently
That's what I would have done.
the Elisa Discord were colluding with each other, saying, "Guys, let's go to that Discord and ask for a boss. Make sure you upvote my comment." Like, bro, what's going on here, man? Like, you're not going to get any valuable information from that, but there is a way to get, I think, valuable information. I tried to do that with this podcast,
Upvote
right?
my
By getting
comment.
pros on like Ni and Rangchu and you guys and everything. And I thought that that is valuable information, right? Having the top players come and talk about the game and stuff. But if not publicly, if they don't like it being public, then privately as well. I mean, consult some of these players. I remember, it wasn't Jackler at one point like part of Namco as a community manager. Like he's a top player. He understands the game really, really well. I'm just saying that maybe having that link between um as a player who understands the game and the mechanics and has competed and understands the game, and as a bridge between the community and the
I
and the
think
top.
it was a good idea back then from Midnight Namco to actually hire people like Mishi Master, who was a player himself. Those QA tester guys are still better, are going to be, like pretty useful. Unfortunately, they haven't been, I don't know like how many, but they need more testers. And it doesn't seem like they've been like hiring testers to test the game.
Company. I think that it could be done that way. But again, I don't work there. I'm just saying, I want the game to be good, bro. I want the I want
Let
the
me
game.
tell you something. I'll
Yeah.
tell you another piece of like history with me, experience. This is hands-on. I don't know the actual truth, right? But I can only tell you from my perspective. When I first got my hands on Soul Calibur 6, right? It was really early. And there were things about that game that I really liked, but there were things that I knew this needs to be changed. I know it. And I offered my hand, like I really want this game to be good gesture. I I told everyone that needed to be told that I am willing to help with this issue, right?
Mm.
Mm.
And it ended up being the feeling of, as a company, they simply are against this concept of like public, accepting public ideas and implementing them into the game. It really felt like they wanted to work internally and they did not want my
Advance.
involvement at
Yeah.
all, and that was the sensation I got. So, I just feel like it's a possibly a culture,
What do you
Japanese
think will
culture
they
type of thing,
change the game in
or I
season
don't know what
3
it
or
is,
keep
but
it
I do know that
going until
this
season 4?
business model or this like ideology that they may or may not
I
have,
think that
if
they
they
just
do
need
have it,
to
it is linked.
like I feel like they just need to, um like every time you use the heat smash, you shouldn't be like they should minimize situations where there are less 50-50s. The game should be more poke based and not just turn based casino and you know and of course I feel like rest is that a lot has improved in season 3, but it's just that they need to like tone down the like the toxic offense. You get what I'm saying? Like Tekken historically has like 150 moves, 100 moves, 190 moves, 180 moves for Horang in this, by the way. And King is sitting on 200 moves. So, but the problem is the King player only does a forward forward 2, or a Horang player just does a down 3 4, right? So, what's the purpose of having all these moves? You get what I'm saying? So this is where things are really problematic. They should definitely, tone down the offense and take down a little bit of effect side of things to make it visually, uh, you know, visually easy for people to be able to see when the mix-up is coming. Like Gly, for instance, they were talking about it. Like he is all about vomits on the screen. It feels like even if he's doing a normal move, it looks like it's a heat move or something. Because at the start of season 2, everyone was criticizing the game a lot, but later people went quiet. Namco didn't really make any major changes until season 3. This is
To that
exactly
thing I mentioned
what happened.
earlier. It's like they're not very good at being a live service game if they're going to be so rigid about where these concepts and fixes come from. It's just not good at it.
Yeah, I mean
I
that's
mean,
your
I'll say,
market, so they should care.
yeah,
Yeah.
They
I was gonna
should,
say
but
Yeah.
yeah, should.
the
All right, Rip, what are you saying? What do you got to say?
the dev portal, right? Like using
Yeah.
that as your source. I mean, I think that like
It's a
as a
good
company,
start.
it's a really good ass idea
Yes.
to take that negative attention for your game and just put it somewhere else so that no one else can see it. I think that is actually pretty genius for a company to hide the complaints about their game.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty smart. Um, but like, I think they've already heard all the complaints. Like this
Yeah.
is just like a sideshow
Yes. Even
attraction.
if you
And
go to just hashtag D8_report, you will pull out all those tweets that are full of complaints. But those tweets haven't been dealt with. But now we have a portal where we need to submit our report. It kills the purpose of report itself if it wasn't heard for the first time as well.
make people feel like they're being heard, right? Because they already saw everything on Twitter. Like they
Yeah,
already saw the Steam reviews. That's
that's what
why
I'm
they did
saying.
this whole thing in the first place. They already knew what you wanted because when they put out that season 3 trailer, they told you everything you wanted to hear. So they already knew what you wanted to hear, but they weren't going to do
Yeah.
that anyway, right? I mean, they already know all of it. So it is what it is. And it's still tacos. It's going to be tacos.
Yeah.
Taco.
And
Tacos.
to Eris's point too, Harada has left, right?
Yeah,
At this point, if you're someone who has been like a longtime employee,
yeah.
you've loved tech and you've loved working there, when Harada leaves, do you still feel like this is my chance to come up, or do you feel like, uh-oh, does our ship have holes in it? Like it's one or the other here, right? So there's like a real like worst case scenario here, right? Like Harada leaves, everyone else like, uh-oh, season 3 is not going so hot, time to bail ship, right? And then like everyone's gone, and you end up in a situation like Soul Calibur, where like Harada was talking about before, there's no one really left to take the mantle of Soul Calibur at Namco anymore. Like
Yeah.
what if the same thing happens here with Tekken?
That is truly the biggest like when it comes to the future of Tekken. That's really what I you can only think back in history. There's no
Yeah.
way to tell the future, right? But you can only look back and see what happened last time. And
Yeah.
what happened last time with Soul Calibur is over time, people forgot about what it used to be, and what it is now is what it became.
Because
And
the new
people were like,
player
oh,
base
Soul
keeps
Calibur 3 or
coming.
5 or 6 or whatever
And
is
they're
the
not gonna
best one.
give a damn if the previous game was bad or good. Like we already spoke, like after 5 years people are gonna be speaking like Tekken 8 was the best Tekken. And then I wanna see everyone, but it's a fact.
I think that if nothing changes over time, more and more people will understand that this is Tekken. It's all about super mix-ups and aggression, easy, streamlined offense, and bazookas and lasers and punching kangaroos and bears and everything. It will all be like, what are you talking about? Tekken's always been this way.
Yeah.
What are you, a grandpa? That's how it will be.
Mm.
You can only look at the past, and that's the only way you could tell the future. So to me, it feels like if they don't revert, if they don't
This is it.
change, if this doesn't end up being an experiment, then this will be the new norm in the future. And whether or not it sells enough copies will dictate if it still exists. Simple.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
I think it's a very sensitive time in the community at the moment. I will say this, as we approach the end of the podcast, because I feel like we've all kind of said a lot already, right? But I will say this. I've been in the community now for over a decade, and and since I have both of you guys here, Aris and Rip, I got into competitive because I used to watch your streams at Super Arcade, your tournaments, and those locals that you had down there when you would commentate and play and stuff. It inspired me
Yeah,
to learn
both
more about
Rip
my
and
scene here in Europe. And then I think Aris, you might have done a restream of
Paris.
UT. You used to do UT restreams of the Paris tournament, and I got to learn about like Harry Potter and all the kind of these Starscream and all the players in Europe. And then I went offline for the first time, and that's how I started. I started by watching you guys do your thing. So for me, it's always been a community thing. It's always been like about the scene. So regardless of the state that the game is in, I will love it. Not the game itself and the mechanics, but I will love commentating it. I'll love putting on events and stuff because the community has given me so much that that I love giving back, and that's why I've always gone out my way to try and make fun things happen for the community. And I've obviously really appreciated doing the commentary as well. It's sad what's been happening now, and I think that
He
for
is
me,
always touching
it's
grass.
become tiring as well. Like, I never wanted to get this deep into it, where the corporation starts to take notice of the things I'm saying, and then all of this and that, and then the drama behind it. But this podcast was created specifically because not just to shit on the game. It was to bring people on, and I chose people to come on who I thought would give an honest review about what the game is, so that could give information to the
Suck it,
developers.
man.
And if it's up to them. If they want
What
to
the
use that
heck are
information
you
and try to
talking
improve the
about?
game, that's on them. I can't force them to. But that's the whole reason this was created. It was not to mindlessly shit on the game. So, and it came out of a place of love, for
Yeah.
the game and for the community. That's what it
Yes,
means.
that's what I said when I
So
cracked the
I do
game
hope in the future that things get better. I hope
on live
Rick
stream.
gets put back on commentary.
I
Honestly,
did
I'm
it
just
out
gonna
of
say
love
as it
for
is,
the game.
like, for me, I don't give a fuck. For me, whatever. I'm a cunt. I say a lot of dumb shit, and maybe I deserve to be taken off. But look, people like Bubsy and Rip and stuff, like, you guys are great, and I hope that you guys do get back on, because I like Super Kuma said as well earlier, that I really believe that Tekken 7, as well as Street Fighter 5 being shit, Tekken 7 really blew up because the community, man. Like, I really feel like we came together. We taught the whole esports world about our game. When Pakistan kicked off in 2019, Tekken was the talk of the town, bro. Everyone was talking about who this random country coming in, and so many interviews that I did.
Yeah,
teaching
gain the
people,
meter. Let's
about
see
our
how
scene,
many
about our game, and I know
good Tekken
personally about
players
people who are now
will
tournament
still keep
organizers
playing the
that
game.
got into the game because of that story of Arslan Ash and then Kudans and that type of stuff, and we were all a part of that. Everyone that's on this podcast right now has been a part of that development, right? So I know that the developers and Namco are watching, and I will just say, take notice of that. The fact that this podcast is done, and I took a break on it. I know you're on a break. I quit it because I thought I know that it was an issue. It was causing problems, and that's why some people don't want to come on. They don't want to come on the podcast anymore because they're scared to speak. But at the end of the day, I hope that we can get to better days, and Rip and the other guys can get put back on. If not me, whatever, that's fine. I'll find something else to do. But yeah, I hope that the game does improve, because it's sad, Joey, speaking to you as well, and you're just like, I don't know what to say anymore. That for me is that we can't even have the conversation because people are too just upset maybe about it and sad, and that makes me sad too. And Aris, I think you're 100% right. If you're not finding enjoyment in something, then you got to move on.
Yes.
And it's tough because it's been such a big part of a lot of our guys' life. It's not easy, right? And I'm sure it wasn't easy for you either. When you said you love Soul Calibur, you love Tekken so much, but you had to step away from it. So yeah, it's like I said, sensitive times at the moment. But what can I say?
let me say something. I want to say something. This situation that you brought up, this whole thing about you being concerned that you can't openly speak about the game, or else there will be like negativity from the company that makes the game. And the way this modern feeling of like the guys who actually do commentate the game speak about it in this really peculiar way, where you can't help but feel like they are shilling this shit. They don't say anything negative ever. Everyone's so fearful, of saying anything. That is the type of culture that is just terrible. And for the fact that Namco has
Yeah.
created this type of culture and turned the Tekken community into a place where the people who care about it the most can't openly express themselves out of fear, that is more embarrassing than anything in the game itself. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
True.
That the people who care the most about your game are afraid to say how they really feel about it, because you're gonna then not let them do whatever. You should be ashamed of yourself that is the case. The only reason you even have a say in who commentates your tournaments is because of events like Electric Wing God Fridays back in the day when we did it for free. You didn't
Yeah.
even know what commentary was. You didn't even know who to hire or anything. It
Yes.
was organic. And the fact that you are now creating a culture where people feel suppressed and all you can have left is like some guacamole shit, that you should be ashamed of yourself. That's worse than anything in Tekken 8 the product. The fact that you've created this environment for your creators, shame on you.
And
That's
the
how I
worst
feel
part
about that.
is, like, like these guys have actually spent, yeah, like years and years of, their life, like loving this game, creating content, like commentating, commentary, and so many other activities. And, like they've been doing it from past decades. Well, like if we go back, in like decade back in my country, there weren't really many tournaments that were happening. There were a few tournaments, but they weren't as, fluid as they are now. And I've been doing commentary like since 2018, sorry, 2018, and I feel like I even now I also, like whenever I'm sitting on the commentary, I also, like have to think a lot and suppress a lot about what I have to say or shouldn't be saying on stream. And then again, and even now, unfortunately, it's a culture where you just have people are they're hiring people who are just going to say the good thing about the game, or they are just like nice people who are only going to say good thing about people about the game. And that's something that I feel it's not healthy. And particularly like dealing with two of the pillars in the commentary for your game, who are unable to commentate, unfortunately, because of whatever reason that you guys did not give to them or told them what their reason could be, or similarly, or as you guys never really replied Ayano's like emails. Like I don't understand this. Like me, it's totally fine. Yes, I know what I did, and I know what you guys know about me. Uh, Although it was done out of love, I shouldn't have done that, but I did. But what my point is that you still cannot take away the fact that I actually love your game. I am a huge ambassador of this game, as well as a player, a commentator, a content creator. So if we think about that very perspective, I think I feel their pain, and them not being able to like commentate or getting banned is not a good look for community itself.
That's real, man. It's like I said, yeah,
Well said.
it's yeah, well said. I don't think anything else has to be said after that, man. And yeah, it's a sensitive time, and it's for everyone, for sure. And I do hope that on a more positive note, that the changes that were made to Asuka, as I mentioned, and they said there's going to be more patches in the future. Let's see what happens. I'm not saying that it's going to be great and that we should look forward to it and everything, but at this point, what could we do but just wait? And again,
Hmm.
coming onto this podcast and saying that I believe that those changes were good, that's valuable information. I feel like, and it's on them now if they want to take that. Like, do you guys agree? Like Joey, Super Kuma, Rip, do you agree that those changes were good to Asuka? Like the down one
Yeah,
plus two, the
The Asuka and the Anna
definitely.
changes were both great, actually. They were
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
pretty on the money, especially with the Anna change on the counter hit two jab and the counter hit down back four. And what the bazooka swing, not getting the guaranteed follow up, like certain characters like that, they like really made the right changes.
yeah,
Hmm.
So
yeah, yeah.
anyway, yeah.
So a bit of hope there, amongst everything else. But yeah, I think I think that's it, man. Like we've spoken a lot, and I think we've gotten a lot of emotion out there as well. Is there? I don't think there's much more to say. All I can say is, guys, thank you very much for
Big
coming on,
fan.
Joey, Aris, Rip,
That's
and Super
another
Because
moment.
again, like I said, it is. I was not planning to bring back Heat Speak. The reason being because I was tired. I was, and I know that this podcast has caused issues. It's caused issues for people. But bringing it back and having you guys on, it's been amazing. Any last words, Super Kim? I'll start with you. Like before we close up here.
Listen, thanks for the therapy session, guys. I really needed that.
Therapy.
Like you said, we could only hope for better. Like at this point, if they're selling tacos, just move on if you don't like tacos, man. Like I'm saying, maybe when they open up a new restaurant that is Tekken 9, I can start being more hopeful again. Right now, I just hope it doesn't get worse.
Mm.
Mm,
I'm not even expecting better. I'm just expecting not worse. And like you said, the community is why we do this. Like the people around me, my friends, they're why I'm still here.
Yeah.
The game could be a lot worse, and I would still be playing just because of them. If anything, they're holding me hostage, but they're my friends, and I love them. So
Yeah.
thank you for having me on, and yeah.
Thanks, man. Joey.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I mean, it's one of these things I like agree. It's like all about the community and the friends that I've made playing this game, and like I'm always gonna think of myself as a Tekken player, kind of like no matter what happens to the game. Um, I will be. I think I'm gonna go to Combo Breaker, so watch out for me there. Like I'm still gonna play, but hopefully do so with the right attitude and like the right acceptance for what the game is. Like enjoy the good aspects of it and the aspects that I don't like. At least be able to accept them and not be a bitching about it all the time. So yeah, I'm still gonna keep playing here and there, and I'll be a combo breaker. And this has been super fun talking to you guys. That's like what it's all about. Getting to talk to cool people and have fun, like enjoying the Tekken community. So yeah.
Sure. Rip.
I just want to say there's a lot of old school names in the chat right now, Lil Majin, NYC Fab and stuff. And it's really cool to see all you guys here, still supporting Tekken after all these years. And, honestly, right now, my biggest concern, like, first of all, I love Tekken, I always have, right? But my biggest concern is that now that Harada's gone, it's like, oh, the crew's going to follow him and they're all going to go to VF or DOA or something,
Yeah.
But, like, other than that, like, I just hope that Tekken can find its way back so that we can all still hang out together and have good times like we used to, right? And then, my personal life, obviously, because of Tekken, I'm a game dev now. We got our game coming out, Invincible Versus, April 30th. That's
Sick.
the release date. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
That's
Looking forward to that, man. Aris, anything else before we close out?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on. It was a pleasure talking about Tekken. I spent the last several years just wildly, blindly shitting on anything even related to it because I want to distance myself from not only the game, but annoying fans. It's like something that's really like Tekken is plagued by just really annoying, demanding, and like,
Oh my god.
they've just turned me into a really bitter person when it comes to Tekken. They're so annoying, right? But coming onto this podcast, I really wanted to be like constructive and not just like wildly shit on the game the way I normally, and I will tonight. I will go back to that. But while on this podcast, I wanted to be constructive and kind of be as like positive as I could while still expressing the way I feel. And I think that you giving people the platform to do that is in itself the whole key. And it just is embarrassing again to me that the fact that when I stopped doing a podcast is because I didn't like the game. I didn't want to talk about it anymore, right?
Yeah.
For you to like the game and no longer do a podcast out of fear of it, that is just deplorable by whoever created this situation. Deplorable. It makes no
I'll show
sense.
you
So,
Eris,
I'm happy that
what
you
Eris
gave
thinks
me the
about
opportunity
me
to express
in a
that in a
bit.
place where normally I would never say this because I don't really give a fuck enough to say it. But I like you guys, And I know this is something I used to care about. So you gave me a platform to express myself in a way that I normally don't, and I likely won't soon. So thanks. I had a good time.
No, thank you so much, Aris, and to everyone as well. It was so great having you guys on the perfect panel here for this podcast. And yeah, hopefully there will be more as well. You've given me some motivation as well to continue doing this. And I see you guys in the chat as well. All of you guys appreciating the podcast here, because I think it's good and it's important to have somewhere where people can come together and discuss things about the game without feeling like they are restricted in some way, right? So let's just hope
Right.
for the future to be good. And again, I'll say, like I said it in the last heat speak, for the developers that are watching, for people at Namco that are watching, because I know you're watching, I know that as a fact that you are watching. It's only always been done because we care. It's
Yeah.
only always been done because we want the game to be the best it can be. And that's the reason why everyone here has put in years of hard work to develop the community and develop the game to get to where we are today, where the game can be at in Saudi Arabia at the Esports World Cup and have the kind of ecosystem that it does. It didn't come from nowhere. As Aris and Rip mentioned, they were doing, locals back a day, decades ago, right? And it came from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we're out here, man. So it's all out of place of love, even if they might think that criticism is bad, and people who are working at a certain level should shut up and not say anything. I don't agree with that. I think that we should be able to talk and constructively give our criticism in order to make the game good, and it comes from a place of love. But that's all I can say, guys. Thank you so much, Aris, Rip, Super Kuma Joy, Fury. Thank you everyone at home watching as well. This will be on YouTube as well tomorrow probably. And maybe we'll do another one of these again, guys. But thank you very much for tuning in, and catch you for the next Heat Speak. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
See yous.
Well, well, well. I think it was a very good. I think it was a very good podcast. I must appreciate the effort put by Spag and the boys. Speaking pretty constructively about the game and everything. I think I really enjoyed that. And like I definitely want to say that part of me, yes, this is literally in like a worse position to be in, where you actually love something and you're doing like you want to give your take and you can't give your take anymore because you're too afraid that devs are you back and I think everyone should be able to like vocal and voice their concern about the game and everything. This should definitely be taken seriously by the dev. And there isn't much that like we're asking. So I really hope that like this definitely is considered a very constructive podcast by the boys, and we improve from where we are, and we improve the game, and like the community comes back on track, and the tournament keep flowing, and the players are happy, the commentators are happy, and yes, I understand like not everyone can be made happy, but at least we need to try. We don't want to be in the same situation we were in season 2, post season 2, and it took us 9 months to just be where exactly we were. Is something is that that I find really problematic. So yeah, see ya, man. SN Ashmi, thank you so much for tuning in. Much love to all of you guys. Cheers and have a good night. And yep, I will see you guys tomorrow. Maybe I'll stream right after Juma tomorrow. I'm gonna be live early tomorrow. So please make sure you guys tune in. Although I feel like playing 2x KO right now, but unfortunately I think it's pretty late for me even start playing Reina rank. So, although that was the whole intention, but I started late, so it is what it is. So, yeah. Cheers and have a good one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in once again and watching and going through with me with this particular podcast. Thanks to Spag and the boys for making it happen and actually making it pretty constructive moving forward. So yeah, cheers and have a good one, guys. And I will see you guys soon.